And then
Am I looking at the camera? I was pretty much looking at you.
you can look
right?
at me, you can look
Right.
at the camera.
Right. I mean, I'd rather look at you because this is more like a genuine.
I'm into it. So, and we are going live. Okay. We are out live on Instagram. We are out live on YouTube, it looks like. We are out live on LinkedIn. These make me look terrible, so I'm taking them off. Welcome, everybody, to Tech Alley in downtown Las Vegas. This is the August 2024 edition of our Tech Alley live stream. We are hosting from the roof deck here at Taverna Costera, which is the epicenter of everything that goes on at Tech Alley. If you're not familiar with Tech Alley, it's our monthly live in-person tech community event here in the Las Vegas area. Everyone is welcome. It is 100% free. It's hosted by Josh Levitt. He's the organizer, and we're going to have him on in just a little bit to tell you what's new with Tech Alley. There's some great new things happening, but it's free. Come on down. The networking session is still going on down in the courtyard. You can kind of hear it in the background as we're talking. And then the first set of meetups start at 11. And since we're coming up on 11, I'm going to tell you what the meetups are coming up for Tech Alley. So the perennial favorite of the 11 o'clock meetups, Who's Got My Money with Kurt Walker. If you are a startup founder, small business owner, anyone who's looking to raise some funding, Kurt has an extensive background as a venture capitalist, angel investor, and all-around money raiser. So he's got great advice for folks if you're looking to raise money in any way. That's Who's Got My Money at 11 a.m. in the theater. Rachel Gomez-Autry is going to be doing Innovation Essentials, and she's going to be talking about some things that are going on with UNLV and also things to help startup founders. That's going to be in Suite 150. The Agile NV meetup, if you're interested in Agile principles, Agile design, Agile software. Will Wang is doing that in 145. And then the Las Vegas Artificial Intelligence meetup is with Timothy May and my good friend Mike Andrews, friend of the podcast here, who's been on a couple of times. That's going to be in Suite 155. But more importantly, what we're going to talk about right now is it is Maria Cristidi. Am I saying
Correct.
that?
Yes, Maria Cristidi Noble.
Maria Cristidi Noble. And she's here to talk about an AWS meetup that we have locally in Las Vegas.
Correct.
So before we get into the AWS meetup, how did you come to Las Vegas? Give us a little bit about you before we get into the nuts and bolts of stuff.
Right. Well, thank you so much, first of all, Jason, for having me here. And hello to everyone who's watching us live or will watch us a little bit later through your YouTube channel. So, yes, my story can take a while to explain. So I'll just...
That's okay. I'm trying to make sure we're going out live and have audio and video. So
all right, perfect.
So you tell us all about you.
Okay, wonderful. So...
perfect. We look great. Look great, sound great.
Vegas for us is a new city.
Mm-hmm.
We moved recently, saying recently, it's going to be close to a year now. We're really happy to be here with the family. We love it. The summer can be pretty hot, but that's okay. Like, we try to figure out ways around that.
Yeah. Did you say where you guys came from?
No, I didn't mention that. So we lived in California for the past 12 years, and now we're here in Vegas. Still close enough to California to visit friends and family.
You made the right choice.
Yes, I believe so. I believe we did. And every day proves that to be true. I work remotely. I work for a tech education company called Digital Cloud Training, where we train people to get certified, mainly in the AWS cloud and some other in-cloud skills, such as Kubernetes, Terraform, and so on. I'm also an AWS community builder and an AWS user group leader. And what this means is pretty much I'm part of AWS's own community initiatives to raise awareness and engagement around AWS. So first group, AWS community builders. It's a global community. Anybody can apply to become an AWS community builder, and once a year. And if accepted, then you're part of that great community. I think we're about 3,000 people globally. And the level of knowledge on AWS ranges. You can be a total beginner. You can be someone who's been in it for a while, someone who's, very good at it, or a specialist, even though we all keep learning, right? And then contribute to the community. So in sense of building on AWS, but also building community and awareness around it. Helping with resources, helping out others to learn, creating content, and so on. Whatever may be your strong element, you contribute to it. And I have to say that AWS is doing an amazing job in keeping all the builders connected, networked. We all collaborate and work together. And so that's one program. and then the AWS user group through Meetup, right? So there's so many meetups around the world on so many different topics. AWS has different user groups around the globe, and they're community driven. So they're driven by people like you or me that may have a connection to AWS or want to bring awareness on how AWS is being used, how you can learn AWS, what you can use AWS for, and so on. And then you create a meetup around it, and then people in your community come join. Of course, you also reach out to AWS and try to be part of their, acknowledged groups. So for Las Vegas, AWS.
Because you guys are brand new here in Las Vegas.
So actually, no. So that's a good point, because there used to be a Las Vegas user group that was pretty active right around the COVID times.
Yep.
And then apparently that group kind of dissipated, didn't revive after that lockdown. As that happened with so many groups and companies and.
We work with a charity here called Vets in Tech, and they went through the same thing. Very active chapter here in Las Vegas, and then when all the events pulled back to the national level online.
Right.
So we've been working the last couple of years to revive the chapter. So, but anyway, you were talking about you, not about me.
Right.
So.
No, but that's a good point, because I think that was a challenge that a lot of us had to deal with. So when we moved to Vegas, being in the AWS community, working with AWS daily, I was the first thought on my mind was like, let's see what we have here in Vegas for AWS. So there was a meetup. I reached out to the right people to figure out if I can, continue that group or try to revive it if there was nobody else doing it, So a few months fast forward, we're now here. Last month was our kickoff meetup.
Okay.
It went fantastically great, full house. We have an amazing sponsor, Visionaries NV. So if you want to take a few seconds to look that up, it's a great community hub for people, for startups in Vegas wanting to utilize all the resources that Nevada offers to get you going, help you figure out business problems and so on. So I really thankful to Rafael for providing a home for our meetup.
That's great. It's called Visionaries NV.
Visionaries NV.
Okay.
And we're being hosted at Blackfire Innovation.
Oh, very nice.
Which is a beautiful place, a great classroom.
That's
for
where my
us.
office is.
Oh, I'll see you there then.
Yeah.
And I'll see you at the meetup too, right?
I'm gonna come. Yeah,
Yes?
we're gonna get into the details as long as I am in town. I think you said it. Well, let's get into it. Let's just jump right to that. When's the meetup? Where's the meetup? What's happening at the meetup? We'll come back to the good stuff after we get the nuts and bolts done.
All right, perfect. So for our August meetup, we're meeting August 28th.
I'll be here.
5 p.m. Perfect. I'm glad you know this without you taking in your calendar. Like, I'm at this point where I'm like, wait a minute.
Well, because I know I'm leaving the morning of the 29th. That's how I know. So.
Okay. That's a good call. So yes, August 28th at Blackfire Innovation, 3rd floor. There's only one classroom up there, Suite 400. And I know that the 400 and the 3rd floor sometimes get confused. So don't think 4th floor. Think 3rd floor.
3rd floor.
And we will have better signage to make sure we guide you through and you come to us.
There's only 4 floors and they won't let you get off on the second one, so you're not going to miss it. It's fine.
Exactly. So we meet at 5 p.m. We do similarly to what's going on here at Tech Alley. We take a few moments to mingle, to talk, to have some coffee, some sandwiches, some donuts, whatever, get our energy going.
Yep.
And then for this month, we're going to have HashiCorp Terraform come and do a tech presentation for us with a senior developer, Karim Satterley, who is actually an AWS community builder. So throughout the community, we support one another.
I see how you did that.
Right? So really happy to have a fellow community builder come do a presentation. And the amazing thing is it's for all levels. So even if you don't know anything about infrastructure as code or Terraform, come join us. We'll talk about what that is. And then Karim is going to do a nice presentation on how we can deploy safely with Terraform on AWS.
So real quick, because we have a real mixed bag audience here who are somewhat technical, but maybe not. What's Terraform, and what can we expect to see at the demo?
We can expect to see a good introduction of what infrastructure as code is doing and how you can deploy on AWS. So it's going to be a step-by-step, very nice presentation. We're going to take questions, and also we're going to do some great swag giveaways and certification vouchers giveaways.
Okay.
So
So you can't afford not to go because they're giving away stuff. They're giving away vouchers for
Certification?
AWS certifications.
For the HashiCorp Terraform certified.
Oh, for Terraform. Okay. So if you're interested in AWS and Terraform and you're going to be in Las Vegas the 28th, you can't afford not to be there. So
Yep.
so let's get a little more basic. What are in general what are the goals of AWS community builders, and then specifically what are your goals for the Las Vegas area for building our AWS community?
Right. So pretty much bringing awareness around AWS cloud at all different levels. So my goals and my hope with this group is, first of all, reviving it just recently, right? Is to keep a good pace on having those meetups regularly, so people get to know us, get to, understand that we're here and we're not going anywhere.
Yep.
So they can count on us on coming and learning every month about AWS. And companies locally also that use AWS, and how do they manage to solve their whatever business tech problems or issues with AWS. So it's not only about, coming and presenting an AWS service, but actually doing it through use cases. So people can understand, oh, this is what my business problem was, and this is how I solved it with AWS and other partners, of course, that are linked to AWS, such as Terraform, for example, right? So one of my goals is to approach companies here locally that use AWS, provide for them a microphone, a space to come and talk about their solutions and how AWS helps them fix whatever problems they have, or consult other companies through that too.
Yeah, there's a lot more companies that do all their stuff through AWS than you kind of realize. It's kind of eye-opening how many companies have started to rely on AWS to provide those kinds of services instead of trying to do it on their own anymore.
Right, exactly. And so also as a group locally, we're in communication with AWS to have an active role or collaboration pretty much with also the big reInvent meetup coming in November.
Okay, well, tell us about that.
I don't know much about it yet.
Okay.
But I do know that we're looking into it.
Okay.
And hopefully there's more great news to come. So what I would suggest, if you're interested in AWS, if you're working actively with AWS or want to learn more about it, join our meetup group.
Okay.
And then maybe that's a link we can provide in your YouTube video.
Yeah,
as like a resource.
Tell us where we can find it. Tell us in the microphone where we can find it. Is it on Meetup proper?
Exactly. It's not, if you have the Meetup app, you can type AWS user group Las Vegas and we'll be right there.
I'll find it because I'm gonna have to go join it myself. So I will go find it, and we will post this when we do a repost of this. We'll put it up into those show notes of how we can get a hold of. You can get a hold of the meetup group, but you've got a little bit of time. It's a couple weeks off, a week and a half off. So
yeah, absolutely. And I do have the QR code for you, so I'll make it easier for you.
All right, yeah, hold it up.
Yep, right.
Walk right up to the camera and hold it up to the camera.
Oh, should I do that? You think? All right.
Let's give it a shot. I don't know.
Well, let's try.
Either that or my computer will try to go to that website. We may lose all of this, but regardless, it'll be good television. So
all right.
So
let's
try. Let's see what happens. I don't know how this is gonna work, but we're gonna. Yep, go put it right up in front, like right real close to the camera. Perfect. Back a little bit because it's out of focus. Back. That's probably good. We'll see if that works. If that doesn't work, I will for sure get the link out onto the channel though. So woo.
All right.
It is sweaty today here in Las Vegas. Cooler than the last couple of months, but I grew up back east. We don't really get humidity in Vegas, but when you live here, you definitely feel it when it's like more than 10%.
But I think it's dry heat is good, but it's also very sneaky. But
Very
we
sneaky,
realize that without water, like you don't know.
You find yourself dehydrated and sunburned very quickly here.
Exactly.
So okay, so that's what's coming up this month.
Correct.
Longer term, what do you have going on for the meetup and the community and all of that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we do have a couple of tentative presentations coming up. We haven't locked the dates yet because of the fact that we have reInvent coming in November and so on. But it's also very important for us to be able to lock down the dates moving forward within the Blackfire Innovation Center.
Yeah.
So there are things coming up.
Okay.
There's one AI company that is interested in coming and speak to us that deploys globally. And then a local contributor here that works with billing and AWS, which is a great topic that
Absolutely,
everybody
yeah.
wants to talk about. So I'm hoping this is going to be one of the next ones, and notified through our meetup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
And there are. I don't know if is this your first time at Tech Alley?
My second
Your
Tech
second
Alley.
time. So
Yes.
so there are a ton of people who I think one would be great folks to come to your meetup, but there's quite a few folks who would be great
Present.
speakers at your meetups, and also there's a couple folks who aren't here today that offline I'm going to introduce you to.
That's lovely.
Who are in the AI community and our robotics community.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll get you connected with some folks offline here
That's great.
in a little bit. So
Yeah, I love Tech Alley. I posted a great a post on LinkedIn and just sharing my genuine, feedback on how much I loved it, and I'll try to make it here every month.
yep.
I feel for people also that work remotely, it's such a great opportunity to actually be around people and connect with people, because I don't think people realize how big the tech community is in Vegas. I
Yeah.
think for the past 5 years, we have more than 2,500 startups that relocated in Vegas. And I think Nevada is doing a great job.
We're starting to get the
incentives.
numbers, and now we all need to start working together. That's the
Right.
next step.
Exactly. And I feel it's going pretty well.
We're getting there.
Thanks to you guys.
We're
for-
getting there. Well, don't
for
thank
Tech
me.
Alley.
Josh,
Josh,
Josh
yes.
just lets me stream here so I can stroke my ego a little bit and get more content for my channel. But no, Tech Alley's great. I've been coming not quite since the beginning, but probably from I've been coming for about 2.5 years. And best networking event in town.
Right, right.
Tech savvy people, folks who really want to achieve things, that want to move forward. When you find areas of mutual collaboration, it's not like, okay, who's going to do what's, like, let's go.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tech Alley's great. The tech community here is great. And we've got a lot of folks who are in from out of town, and we're just trying to get them to come in and be
Yeah.
part of the fold and join us, and let's all work together to do some great things. So.
Yeah, grateful for Just too for providing this opportunity.
Yep.
and just being so welcoming and helpful from the beginning of our group. Like last month, for example, I had a chance to introduce our meetup and introduce our first meeting coming up. So yeah, thank you so much.
But we'll get you back on here next month to talk about your meetup
Right.
coming up for September. But I do have another question for you. So my main business, I do leadership and strategy training for businesses, and you said you're a remote worker, right?
Correct.
And so what I want to get into is a little bit of, so I try to advise companies on how to do remote work the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And how they can be good leaders, right? Because the leadership matters in this. If you don't have leaders who embrace remote work and manage effectively, lead effectively a remote team, it can go sideways really quickly, right? So what's great about remote work, and how to what do you think the best practices are for remote teams and remote work?
That is a great question. I could really elaborate on this, but I'll try to just put the main
Let's put a button
ideas.
on it.
Right,
We'll
right.
we'll save something
So
for another time.
Exactly. Best practices, definitely collaboration online, like a lot of tools that you can use where people can just simply, let's just say, like Google Docs, for example, right? Or some companies use Teams for that internal chat communication. So I feel it's great if you have that connection there, and you have different channels for different groups within your company that they can do their own, close-up meetup on a specific category, and then the opportunity to know that you can reach out to your leadership whenever needed, because it's not the same as being in a building or in a office. Regular meetings. Maybe you can start your week with a nice weekly meeting on Monday, just to catch up where everybody is at. And then maybe you can close your week with another meeting and say where everybody has been so far.
Yeah, that social connection's real important.
Social connections. Another thing is also social meetups that are not necessarily job related.
Okay.
So how about once a month, you have a get together, maybe the last Thursday of your month.
Okay.
And maybe it's an hour before your usual, say 4 p.m., 4 to 5. And it's casual, and people just connect. They talk about what they've been doing outside, not necessarily on work, but on any other topic they want to talk about.
Okay.
I think these are great elements. Collaborative tools are so many out there. So I don't see any challenges when it comes to, working together on documents, on projects, because, everything is out there now. You can use,
Yeah.
and do that. But for the teamwork aspect of things, I think like Teams, for example, is great. If you're in a customer success team or customer service team, that's also, obviously focused on customers and potential escalations and potential, urgent topics. You can have a channel that's like a channel where it's escalation channel.
Excellent. Yeah.
So whenever, very careful when to post there, of course, and knowing that, hey, if something goes in there, it needs to be addressed.
Well, I love that. In the military, when we're flying and stuff like that, I did 20 years in the Air Force. You have what's called a guard channel, and that's kind of where everybody's listening for like the important things that are happening. I've never heard anyone talk about that escalation channel, but I think that's a great tip. Here's our escalation channel. If leadership needs to know something immediately, you put it in here, and you don't put anything else in here, right?
Exactly.
Which is what I have found. I won't pick on particular tools, but some have better reputations than others. But like people don't have good communication discipline. Like everything just goes in one channel a lot.
Right. That is true. I agree. And you can be granular, but then you can be too granular. So I think finding a balance in every organization based on their leadership model, like you said, how many people they employ, the nature of their business, all depends. But I think having a channel like that, no matter what, is great for emergency.
Yep.
Like we do have a WhatsApp also communication. So a lot of times it can also be something through your phone, through you can connect on WhatsApp for emergencies too.
Excellent. Well, it was great talking to you. Thank you for joining us. Tell us again when the meetup is, where the meetup is, and how everyone can reach the meetup group and how they can reach you.
Absolutely. So join us this month, August 28th at 5 p.m. at Blackfire Innovation. And we did try to share the QR code there. If not, you'll find it in the links under the video that will be shared.
We'll get it to you.
And if you want to get in touch with me also, you can find me on LinkedIn as Maria Cristidi Noble. Be happy to connect. And I hope to see you there.
Yep, I'm going to do that right after we get done here. I'm going to reach out to you on LinkedIn. If we're not already, for all I know, we already are.
That is true.
It's entirely possible here in Vegas that has happened. So, no, thank you so much for joining us today.
Jason, thank you so much.
Enjoy Tech Alley.
Thank you, everybody.
We will see you at lunch, or we'll see you next month.
Yeah, sounds great.
All right, have a great day.
Bye-bye.
All right. Whew. I got to cool down, man. I got to cool down. Who's next? You coming back? Okay, we'll be here. Yeah, we'll talk about all that. So because I looked at the agenda yesterday, I didn't see you on it, and I was like, oh, I wonder if Eric isn't able to come this month or something. So
this morning that, hey, I got everything ready if you have a cancellation.
Yeah.
And that's when he found me, when I saw you.
I figured that's what you guys were talking about. So get on camera.
Oh my goodness.
How you doing, brother?
Good. A lot cooler than last month.
Oh my God. So
It's still
for those of you who are not familiar with Las Vegas, one, in the summertime it's always hot. So we're splitting the hair awfully fine when we talk about it's hotter than last month or it's not as hot as last month. But to be fair, like today we are at 99 degrees and it's a little monsoony and humid today and that kind of stuff. Okay.
that
Okay. We want to make sure if we see it, we'll let you know. Yeah, we don't want anyone to lose their backpack. Yeah, so like it's 99 degrees. Last month when we were doing this, probably the same time today, it was already 106, 107.
Yeah.
And what's weird is like it was like that for the May meetup and for the June meetup. So like we're at 99 right now.
Yeah.
And I'm perfectly happy, even though it's a little sticky today.
It's breezy.
Yeah,
and
the breeze is nice.
That's why being up here is so much nicer.
So welcome to Vegas Weather Chat.
Yep.
So you're doing a talk. Well, so tell everybody who you are, what you're about.
My name is Eric Lacasse. I'm the owner of SEO Expert Las Vegas and co-owner of Neon Appeal. I do SEO analysis, strategy. I do a lot of research-based stuff, and I absolutely obsessed with it. I love it. It's a fascinating, very complex world, and it's so complex that people kind of ignore me.
Well, so, I don't know if we've gotten into this before. You've been on a couple times for Tech Alley. I think we've approached this question for, why should small business owners or why should entrepreneurs be interested in SEO and keeping up with that? But I mean, I know some folks in the community who don't believe in SEO. They don't think SEO really works. They don't think it's going to help them drive leads or drive their business. You know, you know, I don't know their business. I don't know what's working for them, what's not working for them. So I'm not gonna, you know, no judgment there. But what, you know, what does SEO bring to the table? You know, what are you missing out on if you're not doing SEO? Let's put it that way.
You're missing out on ranking on Google. It's pretty much that basic. It's SEO. There's a lot of, it's the good and the bad and the ugly. There are a lot of bad SEOs. There's a lot of people that say they do SEO and they don't actually show it. They don't have no case studies. They have no industry reviews. They're not obsessed with keyword research. These are,
and I know you are obsessed with keyword research
absolutely.
because full disclosure, Eric does the SEO for my website and tying in my social media presence and all of that together. So
the problem is bad SEOs make the whole barrel bad. And some people they sign up for a bad SEO, they don't get the results, so then they don't like SEO. It's a very common human reaction.
Yep.
The problem is when you actually meet someone that is obsessed with the small elements of SEO, you realize how important it is. You don't get traffic unless your website has a reason to get traffic. It's that binary. You know what I mean? So again, I see this a lot where there's a lot of paid agencies, pay-per-click paid agencies, and they say they do SEO. And you go and look, and they don't have anything to back it up. It's just a buzzword in the marketing area.
Okay. So let's talk about the difference, because I know there's a difference, but I don't think I could describe it.
Okay.
There's a difference between paid advertising on Google, pay-per-click advertising, which is how Google advertising works, right? There's a difference between pay-per-click advertising and SEO.
Yep.
So talk about what those differences are, and then talk about how doing good SEO can help your pay-per-click advertising.
So the way that I describe PPC and pay-per-click and SEO is think of your business as a plant. You put the plant in the soil and you want it to grow. You have to have roots. You have to have a stem. You have to have leaves. Pay-per-click is renting the sunlight.
Oh, we got it. I should have looked to my left.
I know. I didn't even think about it.
Before I was like, I don't know where your backpack is. Take better care of your stuff. I should have looked to my left.
All right, so we'll start that metaphor over. So think of your business as a seed. You're putting it in the ground. You want it to grow. As it grows, it develops roots. And pay-per-click is renting the sunlight.
Okay.
Renting sunlight, basically, at this point. SEO is the root system.
Okay.
That's as basic as, and here's the thing, Google has to have both parts of the teeter-totter. They have to have pay-per-click, so that's how they're a $1 trillion company.
Yep.
But they have to reward organic traffic on this.
For now, but that's a different podcast.
It is, but again, when 70 to 80% of most people don't click on paid ads and they go to the
I
organics,
won't.
Exactly.
I don't.
See, and that's exactly why SEO exists.
Sorry, Google. I deliberately scroll past sponsored or paid because I'm just a jerk that way. So,
but you see where this is. You can't have one without the other. It's the duality of Google. They have to make money, but they have to show results of that money. And they have to give people that have earned the top rank their place at the top rank. That's it.
Okay.
They're both needed. So the ultimate thing to do is, if you have a business, is run organic for 1 year. Run it, see how you get to 1 to 10 to 100 pieces of visitors of traffic. At the end of that year, now you have an entire list to go to PPC with. You could say, I like this word. I'm not ranking for it top yet. It's cheap. Let's run an ad on it.
Okay.
That's the utopia of online marketing.
So how do you know? Because you talked about doing organic for a year. And that's kind of like just as a benchmark, right?
Yeah,
do it for
absolutely.
a year. But like if we were really looking at this in a business case sense, we would say, how do we know from our organic metrics, our organic analytics, when should we start maybe running some ads on using these keywords, right? If we wanted to be a little more scientific about it, how do you know when, like, let's say it's not quite a year, but you say, oh, you're ready on these keywords. What do you look at?
You want to look at, first of all, organic traffic monthly. You want to see from, 0 to 5 to 100. If you can get to 100 views on your website in a year, that's an excellent benchmark. If you can get people to stay on your web page for more than 2 minutes, another excellent benchmark.
Okay.
If you have above a 5% click-through rate, so impressions, and from those impressions, people are clicking at 5%, which is, depending on the scope, and a lot of this is psychology, a lot of it is statistic. It's the scope in which you are reaching people. A 5% click-through rate is incredible. With that, you need at least 30 to 40 keywords that you're ranking. Not number one, just somewhere, 30 to 40. Because from that, you could find what's called the search intent keywords. Search intent keywords is what Google's looking for.
Right. They can match up through various algorithms and psychology and all that kind of stuff. They can match up. People type in this, but it really means but based on their behavior after they type that in, they're really looking for this, right? That's what you're talking about.
So yeah, search intent comes down into 4 different categories, right? Informational, navigational, transactional, and commercial.
Okay.
Everything that you see displayed on your Google search result page, on your phone, on your desktop, Google is using search intent to give you that result every single time. The problem is that Google knows this, and AI is taking the informational. They're going to take it. They're going to take the search intent. Navigational, commercial, and transactional is where blogs and infographics and YouTube videos, that's the search intent that is not going to get touched by AI anytime soon. But the thing is, explaining search intent to someone is difficult because it's so complex.
There's a little bit of witchcraft involved.
There is, but again, like we said before, and I've preached all the time, search intent along with EEAT and AIDA.
You know, I'm going to make you.
I know
I'm not going to make you go into the details, but just define the acronyms for us.
All right, EAT, experience, expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness. AIDA, attention, interest, decision, action. That and search intent is guaranteed web success. There is really no other formula that you need to know, but having it explained is really difficult.
Yeah.
And it takes a very long conversation. That's why I'm presenting. I'm going to present that.
Eric's got a talk today at 2:45.
2:45.
And
2, I think.
It's either going to be 1:15 or 2:45.
Oh, 2:45. I'll be here all day.
Yeah.
That's good.
And you're in room 150, I think.
150.
Room 150. So if you're in Las Vegas, you want to come down, you want to learn how to improve your SEO. Eric will be here talking about this in much more detail than we're going to talk about now. He'll be in room 150 over at the building with the theater in it, not in the theater, but in that same building at 2:45 today. So come on down if you want to learn about SEO. So back to what you were saying.
Yep.
So EEAT, AIDA.
Right. So that's sales funnels. So attention, interest, decision, action, right? So everyone that wants to try to sell something, you have to get attention. That's where social media is perfect for. But so many people take their social media and they don't incorporate the I, which is interest. You have to have, you can't just post something unless you want to gather some interest in it. The next one is decision, and that's where your website comes in. Your website should be able to create a decision, and then the action underneath that is the action that the person will take. A call to action, phone call, email, all that stuff. It's the most basic sales funnel, but you have to have it, or at least you have to have an idea of how you would build it. Otherwise, people will go there and not know what's going on. They come there for a reason. Give them the decision to either say, give me a call, send me an email, buy my product, and let's go on. But, this is where SEO takes all the technical stuff and puts it into more of like a big picture philosophy. And building that sales funnel is not a requirement. It is an absolute law. You just have to have it.
Yep.
And otherwise you're not gonna be able to do anything with it. You're just wasting time. So
yeah. So this is kind of getting to the core of why sometimes when people do bad SEO, these are the things that they're not doing.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of SEOs that focus on one thing very intently: technical, backlinks, off page, on page. There's a lot of disciplines, but there are some that don't put it all together, because an SEO kind of has to be almost like a business consultant in some way. You have to be able to take a look at what's going on and what's the next step for
Yeah,
growth.
because backlinks are still important,
Oh,
but they're
absolutely.
not as important as they used to be, I understand. So
Well, they'll always be important if you do the right reach out for the right websites.
Mhm.
You could pay and get 1,000 backlinks, but that is irrelevant, and it's irrelevant if you were ever to get in the Wall Street Journal.
Mhm.
That saves you,
right.
you know what I mean? So
Right, you get a good backlink from the Wall Street Journal, and you're probably okay for a while.
you're okay for a while, but it then that's the problem with backlinks is if you get that, great, go celebrate. But now you have to do that again, and you have to get somewhere else, and you have to keep the thing. You have to keep the roller coaster going, otherwise it's going to crash.
Yeah. So just so you know, Eric's advice: just go do something worthy of being on the front page of the Wall Street Journal,
Right.
and you'll be fine. You know, not everybody who ends up on the front page of the Wall Street Journal does it turn out well for them. 'Cause,
True.
You know, just go read the Wall Street Journal and you'll see. But yeah. So if we aren't routinely getting on the front page of the Wall Street Journal, what should we be doing?
Well, you should, at least for a Las Vegas business and any business in any part of the country, you want to get into local citations, local directories, industry directories. It's easy wins. It's, maybe an hour to do a couple, fill out some forms, name, location, phone number, easy wins that actually matter, because those wins actually help you rank up against people of the same caliber website in the same city, in the same industry. So it's kind of like giving yourself a little bit of a nudge for a photo finish. If you don't have it, don't expect to rank above the person that does have it. So backlinks are more important than ever, just because it is an acquisition.
But backlinks from the right place.
Backlinks from the right place. Now you could go pay for them. There's a lot of services that'll pay for it, and that's not bad in the beginning. If you got 50 backlinks that are reputable for local city and industry, there's nothing wrong with that. Get it done and move on.
Yep.
Start creating your content and all that. But not having backlinks is a very bad idea. You will not get above 10 views a month if you don't actually try to get backlinks, because you just won't show up anywhere.
Yep.
So
that brings up something I thought of earlier. I'm glad we're kind of circling back to it. Organic's important. Getting these backlinks is important. Maybe go, if it's a reputable directory, go pay for that backlink, or pay for being a member to get the backlink there. But when you do get to the point where you say, okay, I think we're ready to do some pay-per-click ads on YouTube or on Google or YouTube, wherever you do it, right? When you get to that point, what's some advice for doing organic and pay-per-click together? How do you really synergize those to keep it going?
So you want to look at what you organically rank for, which you and I in our conversations have always known. Most businesses are going to rank for their name first than anything else, right? It's in the title tag, it's in the meta description.
At least you hope it is, right?
It's done right. At least if you had someone that's like, oh, how do I describe this business? I think I should use the name of the business.
Bare minimum. Let's put the name of the business on the name of the website.
So other than the core keywords of name of the owner, business name, maybe location, maybe industry, there's no need to pay for those anymore. You don't, after you rank for them, you don't need them. However, on that list after a year, you're going to find words like affordable, cheapest, best, quality, industry, business in Las Vegas, or that's a long tail keyword. The great thing about that is that they're cheap. I've never seen long tail keywords that really go beyond a couple bucks for per click. The reason why that's important is you want to utilize your money as efficient as possible for paid ads, because there is going to be something that happens when you start a paid click ad. And this is something that your competitors will do to you, which is bait click you, right? So because you've paid for the top, you're paying every $2 or
Mhm.
10 cents for every click. That's
Right.
how Google's making their money.
Right.
You're just putting it into a pot and you're pulling it out every time it clicks. Your competitors can actually open up Windows and click 100 times. They could take you out with your ads and you don't know why no one's converting.
Right. They
Well,
they blow your budget in.
blow
They
your
blow your
budget.
budget in 30 seconds, right? So
So that's something to consider. At least if you're going to use it, you kind of have to have safety in numbers about it, because that will happen. But maybe letting a couple through at the very end from someone else that didn't click it to go to your ad. It's a cruel world. It's a cruel world in the business online, but this is just the rules that happen.
come on, nobody ever does anything unethical or untoward on the internet.
Telling you, I see it a lot. I see it. It's just there are certain industries where it's just so prevalent, but they have so much money thrown into the ad game.
Yep.
That it doesn't matter. They can get clicked out, and then they just put more money back in. You're like, how does that even?
Yeah, well,
Unbelievable.
there's that brings up a point, because there's if you're going to get into this game, you have to be willing to budget what it's going to take to actually make it work, right? If you've only got, there's nothing wrong with only spending $30 a month on ads, but recognizing that, if you're paying a premium on a keyword like $2, $2.50 a click,
Yeah.
you're going to burn through that pretty quick. So,
Absolutely.
and the better you rank for the keywords, the less you pay on the
Right.
on the clicks, right?
Right. The ultimate goal for a business website is to rank organically. You had to earn it. You had to work your ass off to get it. But once you got it, you keep it.
Mm-hmm.
And you get them to come to you organically because you've built a brand. If you want to just have conversions and you need money fast, or you need customers fast, then yeah, go pay per click. I mean, my industry does not work fast enough under a year, period. But yet I see this all the time. 3 months in, why are things stagnant? Why am I not getting more clients, more leads? And I'm like, you're paying for organic.
So fantastic question, because
Excellent.
I get about 17 emails a day, 17 DMs a day. Rank number 1 on Google, right? And you see enough of these in your inbox, they're all scams.
Yep.
But why are these scams, right?
So what they're going to do is they're going to get your business information, and they're either going to do one of two things. They're going to run real cheap paid per click ads for you.
Mm-hmm.
And technically you'd be on first position. So they win. The
Mhm.
statement is true, but it's not true in the sense that you'd be appreciative of it. The other thing that they would do is they would
Right.
take
So
your,
so they could go in and get me number 1 ranked for the keyword of leadership consulting businesses in Las Vegas whose owner is named Jason.
Yep.
That would be
And
that would be the keyword, and I would rank number 1 for
and
that.
they wouldn't know what you do. So
Right.
you have the title of the pay per click, and then you always have what's called a meta underneath it that describes what it is. That's what a paid click ad.
Mhm.
But in that case, they wouldn't know what you do. So they would miss up on what it is that your business is. They would put sales coaching. They would put something that you'd be like, that's not what I do. I paid for this.
And it doesn't matter though,
It
because
doesn't.
they're still getting you ranked for the keyword.
They still get you ranked for the keyword. They'll take a screenshot. They'll send it to you and say, you're on first page.
Yep.
You'll be like, this is not first page. The other thing that they would do is they would take your money and they would throw you into dog crap directories and backlinks that you could have just saved your money
Mhm.
and done it yourself, but they will mess up the name, the address, the physical location. It will actually hurt you if you do that, right? Again, we all know that this is a scam, and it is, but again, they're doing it on a statistical quantity of millions of people per month. They make very good money doing it
Mhm.
because there's always
Sure.
that low hanging fruit that's like, oh, I'll
You
do
collect
that.
$100 from 1,000 people, and you made $100,000,
and
right?
add zeros to it, you get
and
more money.
you did nothing, so it's pure profit, right?
Yeah. So it's a scam, but at the end of the day, like I'm going to say in my presentation, SEO does take time.
Yep.
It is an absolute investment. There's always going to be a discussion about the ROI of it, because the ROI in SEO is not very easily defined. There are websites out there that The ROI for my services is basically just maintenance. They have a very solid organic traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's buzzing, and they need an SEO to just keep up with algorithm changes.
Right.
That's great. There is no issue. That is an absolute calculable ROI. There are some that are just off a little bit. They need a little tweak here and there. Once that tweak kicks in, then yes, then the revenue starts to come in. That's one. But this is the reality. A lot of websites are missing the very basics.
Mm-hmm.
So they're looking at a quick fix, which they would see on AI. Oh, get an SEO.
Mm-hmm.
They pay for the SEO. They want 3 months of traffic in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Then it's like, well, you didn't listen to what I said. Fine. If you don't want to move on, that's completely fine. And then they go say SEO is crap.
Yep.
So again, this is
so the moral of the story is, yes, a lot of people who are offering SEO services, they are offering crap services.
absolutely.
So to help our audience out here, if you are interested in SEO, if you are thinking seriously about SEO, if you know this is something you need to do, instead of looking for someone who says, I will get you ranked on the first page of Google, what should people be looking for? Right? Should they be looking for people who say, we will help you build a brand? Because you've talked about that a number of times. What are the things that good, reputable SEO providers, what are the promises they make? What are the reputable statements they make about their businesses that we can all rely on?
So that's a very good question. A SEO, as we know, our business needs to sell an emotion, right? We know this. Amazon sells convenience, Disney sells memories. I sell confidence and security. That's what I sell. So along with that, since I started doing this, I have to have a relationship with people. I just have to have them trust me, and I got to trust them. That's just the way it works. When it comes to the basics of organic SEO, an SEO should literally be saying in the first 5 minutes of talk, keyword research. Everything comes from that. If they're not doing keyword research, they don't know what the opportunities are for your brand, period. Everything from on-page, off-page backlinks, content, videos, what to say in your video, what to post on your socials. If it's not based on keyword research, then that SEO is not doing their job. They are not at that level. And it has to be kind of an obsession. It's not like, oh, I like to do keyword. No, there's a good SEO will take 5,000 keywords derived from an industry and give you a core 50. And that is what is presented.
So that's what we should be hearing in those initial conversations with SEO as we're looking to hire someone to do SEO for us. That should be what we hear in those initial conversations is, I did a little research on your industry. These are the key, we need to dig more. If you hire me, we'll dig more into this. But here's at first blush what I think the keywords based on your industry and your particular business that I can glean from looking at your website and talking to you. These are the keywords I think we need to be working on for you.
Yeah, and everything should come from that. It's not a set it and forget it with an SEO. Never think that because you've hired an SEO for a month, that once that month is done, you're done with them. You will see the traffic drop. It always does. I see it all the time. An SEO needs to come in and do the same thing monthly: research, content, ideas, and strategy. Rinse and repeat. Keyword research, content ideas, rinse and repeat. That's what makes a good SEO. That's what an SEO does and promotes on their website. Case studies, industry specifics, giving a real estate, so being on Reddit, being in Twitter, being in Facebook, talking and talking and talking all the time. An SEO needs to have a lot of real estate in a lot of different areas because people still don't get how it works. So an SEO's obligation is to be out there. So that's a big problem because a lot of SEOs, a lot of them are just, they're pulled into a company. So they do all this great work, but they do it to help one brand.
Yep.
The ones that are independent, they eventually start building their own websites, affiliate marketing, consulting, business strategy, and they kind of create this bubble. The hard thing is as an SEO is to talk about what it is. Because at a certain point, people are like, that's really confusing stuff.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that real estate is what helps. You know, so I'm always on the socials, on Twitter, trying to get the YouTube up, because there's an obligation that this is how it works.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to let people know this is how it works. Whether they use me or not, it's just how this works.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Very cool. Very cool. Well, that education piece is important, and it's important to show that you are an expert, which is the name of your company, SEO expert, right?
Yeah. It's there's still things that boggle my mind in SEO. There's always things that come out, and I'm like, okay, what does that really mean? And that's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the technical stuff. I know how it works, but like there's a lot more smarter SEOs that really focus on that,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't really focus on the things that I like to focus on.
Yep.
They don't want to do keyword
Well,
research, you know?
sometimes it's enough to know the effect and not the
Right.
mechanics of inside how the black box works. So
But the other thing too is, as AI is starting to integrate into what we're doing, SEO is not dead. It's not a dead industry, and
Mhm.
it never will be, because AI is only doing a certain thing for the inquiry that's coming.
mm-hmm.
But this is the renaissance I think is going to happen
Mhm.
with SEOs. A lot of people are talking in the SEO world that SEO itself is going to start to pull itself away from marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And within the next 5 years, SEO could be its own industry to help marketing. It would be as if you hire an SEO like you hire an accountant
Mm-hmm.
or a lawyer or someone to take this baby, this seed,
Yeah.
and break it down and be like, this is sick. This is a sick seed.
Mhm.
We need to do this. We need to do that. It's not there yet. I
Mhm.
think it'll be here soon enough to where you'll see just independent SEOs everywhere.
Yeah, as AI comes along, and as search engines like I think the idea of a search engine as we know it is going to change. It's not gonna go away, but it's gonna, based on the way we interact with,
Right.
based on the way we interact with AI, the idea of going to the front page of Google and typing something in, that's probably not going to be how we do things in a couple of years, right?
Yeah.
And so search algorithms, and Google's not going to go down without a fight.
No.
So Google search is not going to go away. It's just going to become something very different.
Right. And it's funny because with AI, AI killed a very important element of SEO within a month. And no one talks about it anymore, but you remember voice search?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's dead. It's dead. It's gone. So no one has to worry about using their Alexa or their Echo or anything to do.
That's good, because I unplugged mine in 2016 and never used it again.
It's
So
dead. It's dead. I've been a part of a couple webinars in the SEO world, and all of them have said, don't even look at voice SEO anymore, because AI killed it in about 2 weeks.
interesting. Very interesting. That's how fast things can change.
Yeah, and it's a fascinating time to be a business owner, or at least have a website that sells
Mhm.
a product, because
Well, and not even if you're a business owner, but if you are, even from a personal brand perspective, this is something people need to start thinking about. If you're, if you are trying to make a presence in the community, trying to
Yep.
get your personal brand out there, whether that is, because you're trying to be an influencer, or
that's true.
because you're going to be looking for a job, you're thinking about moving on from what you're doing now. All of this is going to be real important, I think.
It is about consistency. It's about selling your brand, selling your emotion, and other than that, there's a whole other math problem involved, but it's algebra, right? If you know one thing, you can figure out the rest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So understanding how this equation works.
It's not all detached from
Exactly.
everything
And
else.
it's not binary. It's a flow chart.
Yep.
And it's one thing that leads into another. But the thing is, whatever your brand is, whatever it is that you're selling, you got to really like it, but you also got to be obsessed.
Mhm.
You got to not think about anything else while you're doing this, because obsession always wins, but obsession ranks. That's it. The people that are obsessed put in all that work, and they earn that
Yep.
top spot.
Well, I know how obsessed you are with SEO research in general and the keywords that you and I are working on
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I
Yep.
want to let you get going to go get prepared for your session. I know you have a little bit of time, but
I
I
know.
want you to get a chance to go do that. So, tell everybody again where they can find you and what time your session and where your session is this afternoon.
So I'm Eric Lacoste again, owner of SEO Expert Las Vegas. I'm going to be presenting in room 150 at 2:45 today. It's going to be the title of the presentation is The Untold Truth of SEO. And it's going to be a lot of information, kind of how obsessed I am with SEO. That's what I put in the presentation. It's about giving information and letting people know that there are good SEOs in this world, and there are ones that are very, very obsessed with doing the basics very well.
All right, and that's going to be 2:45, I believe, in
2:45.
room 150.
150.
So come on down to Tech Alley if you want to meet Eric, if you want to hear Eric's talk, if you want to meet uh, Maria, who was just on before, want to meet any of these folks we're going to have on here today, come on down to Tech Alley. We're centered around our host, Taverna Costera, here on Charleston and roughly Main Street, here in beautiful downtown Las Vegas. It's actually shaping
Very
up to be a really nice day here
Wow.
for a day, an August day in Las Vegas. So if you're in Las Vegas, come on down. If you're not in Las Vegas today, but you're going to be in Las Vegas, come join us on the third Saturday of every month here at Tech Alley in downtown Las Vegas. Eric, we're gonna let you go. Thanks
All
for
right.
talking to us.
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna take a little break here. You're gonna get some dead air here for a while because one, I'm gonna try to set up a light and make some adjustments to the camera. So if you lose us, just sit tight. We'll be back up. But yeah, you'll probably just see me milling about here as I try to adjust some things, and then we're gonna try to find a couple more folks for you to talk to. So yeah, it might get quiet for a minute, but check back in with us in just a few minutes. All right, thanks, man.
Oh, no problem. Where's Dave and Sophia?
Dave is doing a retreat this weekend, and Sophia's on a job down in LA. So Ben is helping me out a little bit, but I've got him out scoping for guests to come on and talk. So yeah, I'm kind of live without a net here. So if you see Josh downstairs, send him up because I definitely want to. We didn't get him on last month,
Oh, okay.
so I definitely want to get him on
I see him around.
again. And if I get my adjustments made here, I'm probably gonna go poke around downstairs. Also, do you know Madeline from a Startup NV? I don't know if you got
the
long blonde hair.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, if you see her, send her up because she wasn't here for announcements, but they're doing the TechStars week coming up, the Startup week coming up. I want to get her on, talk about that, and then there's a couple other folks. So yeah, so if you're watching and you don't see anything happening, just sit tight. We'll be back. Check back in with us. No need to, it's the internet, so people come and go from YouTube streams all the time. So
All right, man. I'll see you
all right,
around.
see ya. Buildings. All right, we're still on Instagram too, so that's fantastic. All right. All right, we are back. Thank you for being patient as I made some adjustments. I don't know if this light is helping or not. I hope it's not in your eyes too much, but so welcome. Thanks for joining us today. Tell us who you are and all about you and what you're into.
Well, I'm David Rosales. I started a company called Reimagine Innovations. That is what I've been coming to Tech Alley for. It's basically a electronic security company.
Okay.
I make security devices.
All right.
My first product was a catalytic converter alarm system to protect catalytic converters from being stolen. And from that, I realized it wasn't enough to sustain one business. So it became security devices.
Okay.
From the catalytic converter, I have a design that will protect pool equipment.
Okay.
The filters, pumps, and heaters. I also have I'm developing a system to stop copper theft from city.
Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of cities and municipalities would probably be interested in that.
You think? It doesn't seem so.
No. Okay.
I've contacted Clark County, City of Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, Henderson. No one calls back.
Well, that's not unique to your business. That's a little inside baseball here in Clark County in the Las Vegas area. Is not, sometimes it's a little hard to break into working with the government services. So
but it comes down to, I think the city of Las Vegas, at least, from what I've heard, the city is incorporated, so they consider themselves a company. They consider themselves a $1 billion company. When they're losing $1 million a year in replacing copper theft, it's really not that much.
It's got to be more than that.
No, well, according to the last statistics, the city of Las Vegas spent $1 million in just replacement. I don't know if that's just copper or copper and labor, but $1 million to a $1 billion company isn't really anything, and it just seems like they don't care. So, that's where I'm at.
Okay.
I am stuck with potential products, a product and potential products.
Okay.
But no buzz. No one seems to be listening. And I think I might go bankrupt because of this.
All right. Well, we'll see if we can get the word out a little bit and keep that from happening. What else? So you have the catalytic converter stuff, which that's an obvious problem. We've all kind of heard of that, of the theft of catalytic converters. And can you tell us a little more about the tech behind that? Is it like a Wi-Fi thing, a Bluetooth thing? How to what if I go buy a device to protect my catalytic converter? What am I buying, and how do I get notified and all that?
Okay. Well, this was originally a device for myself, so it is pretty basic. There is no Wi-Fi, no app or anything with it. It is just a device, a box that with a siren gets attached to your vehicle. Sensor wires. Sensor wires goes around the exhaust. Only communication is through a key fob. You can press it once to arm it. Press it again to disarm it, and there's an audio alert to let you know that it's on or off. And it's
basic.
Yeah, it's very simple. Yeah, it's just an alarm system. So when someone cuts it, it is not only will the homeowner know, neighbors will know. All the dogs in the neighborhood.
At least it's going to make some noise. And it's going to make some noise, and people are going to think twice about continuing to cut that catalytic converter off, right?
Yes. Yeah, because once you get the first cut in, because it's typically 2 cuts, left and right. Once you make the first cut, it goes off. No one's going to sit there for another 20 seconds to cut the other half. Yeah, especially when everyone's going to be coming out looking.
So has there been any thought of, can you make this something that is something on an app, something that could remote alert a car owner or operator remotely, in addition to the alarm going off, right? So that they know something's going on. Because I could see how this could be something that the car companies would be interested in, as part of their, as we all get more, as cars get more features with Wi-Fi and sensors and all that, there's there's a piece of this that car companies would be interested in, just in general, for more security for their the people who buy their cars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Really, all it takes is change out the microcontroller.
Mm-hmm.
The microcontroller I have in it right now is really underpowered, just to do sensor.
Yeah,
sensor check.
it's all you're doing is blowing a horn, and it doesn't require a ton of power. It doesn't require a ton to do that, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So just changing out the controller to like an ESP32, which already has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth in.
Yep.
You can just connect your phone to it and let you know if something's on, something wrong.
Yeah.
But the reason why I didn't go that way is because it seems like overkill.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a device that is set and go.
Yeah, I'm trying to think bigger picture, like fleet management, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a company that owns like fleets of vehicles, and then because the opportunity there is, if you meet that need and they've got vehicles moving all over, they're parked all over the city there, maybe they come home to a yard at night, maybe they don't come home to a yard at night, right? It all depends on, but if you've got a fleet like a rental car fleet, or some other, if you're involved in fleets of vehicles, this is something where now where all your vehicles are, and what's happening to them at any point in time. And especially like if you are a fleet manager, like you've got a vested interest in knowing that, at least knowing something happened to that vehicle. Because otherwise the alternative is you have no idea, and then you don't find out till either you get that vehicle back, or you get that vehicle inspected and go to sell it or something like that. So,
yeah, but I mean, if an account would have been attempted at any time, whoever is watching that car will be notified.
Yeah, if there's someone watching it, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you got parked in your house, you're
Yep.
definitely going to hear it. Now, like yard, truck yards, that would be something.
Yeah, I think that's interesting.
And it's the system that I'm developing for the copper theft actually does have communication.
Yeah, that you would have to have that.
Yeah, so once a copper wire is cut, it actually sends out to a backend that we're developing as well, or it could go to like 911 command center or whatever. So that system that we're creating for that could also be used for the catalytic converter.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the key to moving this forward. No matter which product you're selling, is what's your back end, and what's the information that's really critical to a decision maker when something like this happens, right? I mean, for some decision makers, it's just enough to know that something's happening. For others, they might want to mobilize resources to stop it, right?
Yeah, and the copper theft thing is definitely mobilized.
Yep.
As soon as something goes off, it's get to that location, and it does have GPS. It has cellular. The copper theft is maybe overly designed right at this point.
It doesn't sound like it. I mean, it's I'm very curious why you haven't had a little more traction on that, because yes, the value of the copper is small comparatively to, like, just an example you used of Las Vegas is $1 billion company, and if they're spending $1 million a year on it, I mean, that's still significant. But it's not, to me, thinking as a citizen, it's not just the money involved, right?
It's not,
because it's one, getting the copper to replace it, because copper not always easy to get right now, right? It's a hot commodity, for lack of a better term. And then now you have a section of, whether it's highway, freeway, neighborhood, whatever it is, that now no longer has streetlights for some period of time. And I'm almost sure they're not mobilizing within about a day to get that done. I would bet on average it's weeks to months to get one of those things replaced.
It's beyond months.
And that's an issue for that neighborhood, right? That's an issue for if there are not streetlights, there's potential for other crime in that neighborhood.
Exactly.
And maybe that's some of the angle to take, some of the research to do as you think about making this pitch, is not just what you're losing from the value of the copper, what the city's losing by the value of the copper, what other opportunities are losing, what's the real for lack of a better term, the ROI they can get, because because they're incurring a whole bunch of other expenses. You know, maybe it's increased police presence in the neighborhood because there's no lights, or maybe it's just crime in the neighborhoods that they have to, whatever it is, right? I think that's something to start incorporating into your pitch, is when the street lights go down because there's a copper theft, your own data says this is how long you're down. And then, you know, can you pull the thread on there's increased crime, there's increased complaints from the neighbors, there's, you know, safety issues, all that kind of stuff. That's kind of the direction I would go as I'm trying to assemble this pitch.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't thought about it. I mean, like the freeway here.
Yep.
We had copper theft 2 years ago.
Yeah, I remember. That's what I'm kind of basing my thought process on here.
It took NDOT until like last week to repair it.
It was a long time, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, they always have,
And they have to shut down the roads to do it.
yeah, and then they always have an excuse like,
Yep.
you know, oh well, you know, we got to push it back, and it's always something.
Yep.
And this would just stop all that.
Yeah, you don't have to shut down roads, you don't have to do maintenance, and you don't have increased safety issues for the period of time that you're without the light. So
Exactly.
so I think that's the next thread I'd be pulling on as I built this pitch if it were me. So
Yeah, and there was another idea to stop porch pirates. That's an idea I actually had about 7 years ago, but the construction on that is just beyond my budget.
yeah, that's a tougher challenge, because I think the people mostly affected by porch pirates in a financial sense are like your Amazons, your folks who are shipping, and it's honestly just easier for them and cheaper for them to replace what didn't, you know, to replace the item that didn't get to the consumer than it is to invest in something else. So
Yeah, I mean, but for the consumer, it you know,
it's frustrating. Yeah.
yeah, and that's who it would be marketed to. I mean,
Yep.
that one would be direct consumer
Yep.
marketing, because no one wants to, you know.
Yeah, it's annoying, but if you get it in the afternoon and not in the morning, you know, a lot of consumers are pretty happy. So
It's more than just a loss; it's a violation.
Yep.
You know, it's beyond just monetary loss on
Yep.
all that.
all right. Well, where can everybody find you? Where can they find your business, find your products?
My catalytic converter is sold on my website,
Okay.
reimagineinnovations.com,
Okay.
and eBay.
eBay. All right.
Yeah,
Awesome.
And we for a few more weeks we have a summer sale
Okay.
going on.
Great to know. And if someone from City of Las Vegas is watching and wants to get a hold of you to have this discussion,
David at reimagineinnovations.com.
fantastic. All right, David. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. So just leave.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Come on down, Elias. Who are you bringing to me, or am I talking to you today? Yeah, let's get him on the camera. Get him on. Oh yeah, we're live. We've been going since we did the announcements at like 10:20, so we've been going since like 10:30, and
That's awesome.
I'm just swapping out the ice packs on the internet and the camera, and just trying to keep it all cool. And well, bring on, who are these guys? Hey, Surreal, how you doing, man? Get on camera here. Get over here, yeah. Yeah, well,
is it okay-
Elias will get his moment. Let's get everybody on here to say hi. Come
yeah,
on.
please do. Everyone can introduce themselves.
Come on, introduce yourselves.
So you guys know Surreal already. Surreal, say what's up.
Yeah.
How are you guys?
Surreal, tell everybody what your business is and where they can find you.
Do photography, videography. You can find me on social media.
Yeah, while you're here, can you get some BTS shots of us doing this and send them to
yeah.
me?
Yeah.
I'm without my team today. Sophia's
man.
doing a gig in LA.
Oh, cool.
Dave is doing a retreat this weekend. So,
heard.
but Ben helped out with the setup, and we're
That
getting
shit,
it
come
done. We're keeping it alive, keeping the dream alive here at Tech Alley in downtown Las Vegas.
I
So,
love it. This is Elvis. Elvis, feel free to come by. Say hi.
come over here, get on camera, Elvis.
Elvis.
Yeah.
I'm just a student at Advanced Technologies Academy.
Okay.
For any business owners or anything out there that are looking for people to recruit in computer science, business, anything, you can come to Advanced Technologies Academy. There's quite a few students. You could be a guest speaker there.
Okay, well, I think we might have to come down and do a podcast from Advanced Technologies Academy and get to know some of the students and the instructors, and
There's
and
some
maybe we
instructors
pull
there.
together some industry folks. Maybe we make a day of it.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, get a little vets in tech involved, and
If you
and,
need
uh,
anyone to contact, Dr. Morentek, there's also a few teachers there you could probably contact.
Okay.
I know Roger Mayo, he comes to this.
Roger's
Tech
usually
Alley
here, yeah.
So,
And where are you guys physically located?
We're the address is 1411 Robbins Street.
Okay,
That's
right here in Las
yeah,
Vegas.
right here in Vegas.
All right. Who else? Who else have we got today? No? We got shy guys. Come on, come say hi. It's the 21st century. It's 2024. You got to learn to be on camera.
Hi, how are you?
Go ahead. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, my name is Chandrion Coleman. I am a youth coordinator at Nevada Partners, as well as an advocate. I do a lot of things creatively, and my tech business is going to be a creative consultant and entertainment business.
All
We
right.
help with all creative anything. You have a dream, we can make it happen.
All right. Love it. Thank you for joining us today.
No
AJ
problem.
just got his LLC too.
Oh, congratulations. Make it legit. No? All right. Well, when they see how much fun we're having as we're talking, they'll come join us. So,
I'm sure.
so
I'm sure.
you, Elias Benjaloon,
Yeah, Jason.
how have you been?
Hey man, you know it's
You have a
been
ton going
grind.
on.
It's been a grind.
Yeah.
It's been a grind. It's been a lot of things going on, and I'm more than grateful for it. I love all of the opportunities that we get to serve,
Yep.
and putting myself out there to continue to do that.
Yep.
And so, yeah, we've been doing Promise Startups, which was big part inspired by Tech Alley.
Absolutely.
We've done 14 of them now, and we have our 15th one September 7th. So
Okay.
that's been amazing to maintain
Yep,
that.
mark your calendars.
Yeah, I also published a book recently.
I know. I want to get to. I especially want to get to this. So
For sure.
Nevada Partners.
Yeah.
And Promise Startups. For the last little more than a year, 14 months.
Yep. Yep.
You guys have done Saturday
Mhm.
workshop symposium. I don't remember exactly what you call it, but
Yeah, the entrepreneurship conference. So
that's
we
an
just-
entrepreneurship conference.
Yeah, we just bring out speakers to come out and share, their expertise, much like what's going on here at Tech Alley.
Yep.
We also have people, do pitch practice, so that's been really great. We bring out our community partners. So last Promise Startups conference, we had like Doolittle Community Center. We had Score, Stephen Ness representing. So
Yep.
shout out to them for coming out. I'm really excited because we're looking, we've had the Urban Chamber lean in really heavily last time. And so we're setting up these partnerships with like the Urban Chamber, with Score, with some resource partners, and with the high school, so that we'll always have like heavy hitters at the conference and tons of youth activities going on.
It's always great. You had me and Dave Berlin. We did
Yep.
July was all focused on veterans and veteran entrepreneurs
Yep.
and how veterans can become entrepreneurs and contribute and all that kind of stuff. And that coincided with the opening of the Veteran Entrepreneur Library.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about the Veteran Entrepreneur Library down there.
Yeah, that was definitely an incredible experience, and is going to be a pillar of the work we continue to do at Nevada Partners and to support entrepreneurs and specifically veterans. It was Dave Berlin's idea. He came to us from Vets and Tech, and he was like, "Hey, we need to just have like a library over here that really puts a flag in the ground that says that this is a friendly and welcoming space for veterans." And so between Dave and some of the veteran serving organizations we partnered with, Los Vaqueros is a charity that partnered with All True Care. They sponsored the creation of the library.
Okay.
And then we're doing interviews with UNLV, hearing the
Yes.
stories of veterans in Vegas, the impact they've had. It was really amazing sitting in on your story as well. That was really awesome. And
I got to share a long, boring story about a mediocre career with with the folks from UNLV. But I do think the project is a great the oral history project they're doing about veterans' experiences is a great project. So
Awesome. I definitely want to continue doing more work that we can do to serve veterans, both in the post-traumatic growth section, but also in the PTSD or the struggling section. Like Nevada Partners is a nonprofit that does wraparound services, with housing and helping people get back on their feet and stuff like that.
yeah,
So it's a
and
big
they
part.
go hand in hand. It's not one or the other. So
Yep, exactly.
we all come with our own baggage as veterans, and we come with a little bit of the trauma and the growth,
Right.
And it's just meeting people where they are. So
Yep. One of my best friends, he just shipped off to training.
Oh, really?
Earlier this week, actually. Brent Buffone. And so he's out training for 6 months. He's joining the Air Force Reserve.
okay, so is he going down to Lackland for basic training, or is
I
he
think
going
so.
to officer training?
I'm not completely sure. I
Okay.
think it's officer training. He does have.
He's
his
probably going to
bachelor's.
Maxwell in Alabama. That's where I was for my last assignment.
Okay,
was-
and then my other best friend, his name is Dr. Mark Liggins, and it's funny. He's a captain, a doctor, and he's also a Taekwondo master. And he ships out in a couple weeks.
Okay.
For the Army as a biotechnologist.
All right. Well, that's cool. All right. So you've got all kinds of great stuff going on in the past. You've got stuff coming up September 7th, I think you said it is
Yeah,
the next conference. which will be great. So mark your calendars for that. If you're going to be in the Las Vegas area, come on down to Nevada Partners and Promise Startups. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the book, because I have seen you everywhere online with this book, and I saw you at the Harris rally last week with some little signs related to the book. And so tell us all about the book, and tell us all about what you're doing with that.
Yeah, you know, it's a deeply personal story, Jason. And I'd love for you to sign it, join the join the signatures, the support that are inside. It's a deeply personal story. I'm one of the 11 million undocumented Americans in this country, and it's been a very powerless feeling. My family, under the Trump administration, my sister got detained by ICE and deported, and then I got a deportation order, and my parents did too. And so it was in 2017. I had just finished college. I had just finished an amazing sprint helping launch Uber in Vegas. I received a $50,000 grant from the National Science Foundation, and I literally had to leave the country like a week before going to NSF training. So I just felt like my whole world was shattered, because I didn't, growing up as an immigrant in America, I was here since I was 2. So I felt like super American. Like I didn't even realize.
I can imagine, yeah.
I didn't even realize the gravity of what the situation actually meant until all of it came down. And so I live to Europe with my family. We rebuilt our lives. I was able to come back to America because I was married.
How long were you guys gone?
Well, my parents are still gone. My sister as well. I was gone for like a year and a half.
Yeah, that's kind of what I remember. I think we met right before that the first time.
Yeah.
And then, and you had to rebuild your business overseas.
Oh yeah, that was also a rough experience.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Oh, it was tough because it wasn't the same. Like Vegas, I'm really grateful for Vegas as a community. I consider a lot of these folks my family. And so, I've been mentored and supported by the UNLV and the ecosystem here. Being dropped in a new country where I didn't know anybody, I didn't understand the culture, didn't understand the business environment, was definitely a challenge. I implemented a lot of the same things. Like I knocked on over 400 doors. I attended every business meeting I could. I was like cold calling folks, and I wasn't really penetrating through the market. It wasn't until I started going on LinkedIn and I started refocusing on like a more global approach. So I was like reaching out to people in Malta, as well as in America and around the world.
Yeah, because you were in Malta.
Yep.
And this wasn't like you were like, okay, well, bad deal, where do I go? They were like, you have to go here, right?
No, it was it was bad deal, where do I go?
It was, okay.
And we picked Malta because it was an English-speaking nation that was affordable to live in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how did you end up getting back?
Yeah, so
is that a story you can tell online?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it is very confusing, and I don't it's by the grace of God or grace of ICE that I was able to come back.
Yeah.
I was married, and my ex-wife, we were traveling back together, and so she applied to sponsor me to come back. Yep. But that case, and I talk a little bit about it in the book, ended up going nowhere. My case got denied, and so now I'm kind of in a limbo situation. And so that sense of feeling powerless is what led me to write this book and start documenting my story, as well as the story of other immigrants, so I can speak truth to power from a position of power. Because I think it's very easy to hear what's going on in the news and not realize that we're talking about actual people in our neighborhoods. Yeah. 1 out of 20 households in America are either led by an undocumented person or have undocumented people in the household.
I didn't know it was that high.
Yeah.
That's a staggering number.
It is. Yeah, it's almost 5%.
Yeah.
The population.
Yeah, I had no idea. All right, well, tell us a little bit more about what's in the book then. That's quite a tale. Glad you're back with us.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. I believe in an America that's inclusive and welcoming, and that's not just my belief. Since President George Washington through President Obama, that has been the theme of America as a nation of immigrants and a nation of laws. And so I wrote the book, kind of doing an assessment on the current immigration policies, and then making a call to action for immigration reform. And that's why I've been out there campaigning to just keep immigration as a top issue in the nation, but change the narrative so that we can create pathways to citizenship for the 11 million undocumented folks, and create immigration as a system has constantly broken because all of the fixes have been temporary. And so if we can call for comprehensive reform that is inclusive and puts new Americans on a path to contributing to society, I think we can maybe actually solve this problem for real this time.
So what are the steps? What are the first steps we're going to take here in our community in Las Vegas to help with that?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I would say, one thing we're lucky about is that we can talk to our legislators, whether they're Congress folks or U.S. senators or their local assembly and state senate, and just advocate for immigration. Educate yourself about the topic. You can, if you're an immigrant or you know an immigrant, I'd love to interview you to share your story with me. And you can go to butterfliesmovefreely.com.
Okay.
And of course, vote. Like, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for.
Yeah.
I can't vote. I'm not an American citizen, but your vote is powerful. So go out there and vote and think about the people your vote's going to impact.
I think that's important. Again, we won't tell you who to vote for, but it's very important to participate in the process.
Yep.
And just get out there and do it, and make the decision that you think is right. But we'd rather you voted than didn't vote.
Yeah.
If you're eligible to vote. So
Yeah.
cool. So what else is coming up for you? That's I know that's something very important to you. You spend a lot of time on that. What else is coming up for Elias?
Oh man, I have been getting into the AI-powered app development. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
I'd
since
love
we're
to
at-
talk about
we're at
that.
Tech Alley.
We're here at Tech Alley.
Yeah.
So let's talk about AI app development. So
Yeah, that's been really powerful. I mean, the fact that ChatGPT. So first off, the fact that AI has blown up so much in 2022, it's really hitting the mainstream.
Crazy.
But it's become a lot easier, especially for low coders like myself, to integrate OpenAI into workflows. And so now what I'm doing is I'm building AI-powered apps and essentially creating really custom solutions for different businesses that insert ChatGPT into the workflow. So some of the basic examples, like if you ever comment on any of Cyril's Instagram on Oscar Creations, there's an AI-powered chatbot that will automatically reply to the comment. And then if you DM the page, it'll try to close you into a booking.
Okay.
So that's an example. I'm working with Stephen Ness over at Looking Inward for Tomorrow, his loan business, and we're building a lendability calculator.
Okay, yeah.
The way that works is you just answer a couple questions, and then AI on the back end scores your lendability and gives you an assessment on how you can become lendable.
Okay. Awesome.
Another one that I'm really excited about is our virtual business center, which is virtualbiz, B-I-Z, center.com.
Okay.
And all you gotta do is it's $12. You answer 7 questions, and it generates a 15-page SBA templatized business plan for you.
Okay.
That's custom to you. And since I work with tons of business owners, we've done over 50 business plans through that app, and that just helps folks go. AI really helps folks go from 1 to step 7 a lot faster.
Yeah.
Versus being stuck at step 1 or 2 or
Well,
3.
when you don't have to go research steps 2 through 7, and because the AI knows what the steps are and it knows what information it needs to get you through the step, it goes a lot smoother. So I'm a big fan of AI. I'm using AI a lot to streamline my own processes.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
One app that I have in the works, and some of these things I just kind of play around with to see what's happening, is actually related to podcasting.
Okay.
And the way it works is every time you go live on YouTube, this is the workflow that there's some issues with it, but let me just, and if anybody else could build it, go for it, because I think it's a massive opportunity for any podcaster out there. And the way it works is like when you go live on YouTube or LinkedIn or wherever you're podcasting, to automatically download the audio, transcribe the audio, use ChatGPT to process the text. So now you can generate your show notes, you can generate your social media posts. There's actually some tools like Midjourney and some other AI art tools that can insert your photo and the headshot of your guest into an art piece, and then get that
would be huge
produced as well.
That
and then,
would be huge to start creating thumbs and that kind of stuff.
Right. And then Opus Clips as well. Like if you integrate into that to auto generate your video. The idea is like if you could just go live and then have the show notes, the graphics, the videos all be generated.
If I could have that workflow, because right now we're running 1 camera, but if I could have that workflow where I had a 3-camera setup.
Yeah.
Some piece of AI software did the rough editing of the 3 different cameras based on what was coming through microphones and that kind of stuff, and then created my show notes and episode description and created my thumbnails for the show. And within a couple hours of recording, there was some package in a directory on my shared drive of all that stuff.
Yep.
And then I could just do the posting to the different platforms. So yeah. I'd pay for it if anybody's looking for an opportunity. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's got to be able to handle multiple cameras where I don't have to sit there and edit manually.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, or punch buttons live while we're trying to record.
Right.
So,
yeah, I've been there.
So that's what it's got to be.
Awesome. Well, hey, Jason, it sounds like you've got some cool new guests as well. I really appreciate the opportunity to come share with you and all the support and the
No, always.
collaboration.
Yes, I would love to sign this. So,
Yeah.
um,
Oh, yeah, feel free to
yeah, let me
throw that in there anywhere you want.
okay, let me find a nice.
Yeah, the immigration story has been a tough one. It is, you know, it was kind of tough sharing my story. It's kind of traumatic. So all of these signatures mean a lot to me because every time I get ready to pick up this work again, and anytime I'm discouraged by what's happening, I really just have to pick up the book and remember I've got a whole community of folks who are backing me and support me, and ultimately don't want folks like me to be deported, which
Yeah,
is much
exactly. Well,
appreciated.
we would love to keep you around. So,
Yeah. Thank you, Jason. And if anybody ever wants to talk, talk shop, tech nerdy stuff, just come down to Nevada Partners.
yeah, and tell them where to find that.
Yeah, you can learn more at Nevada Partners at nvpartners.org, or just come visit us. We're at 690 West Lake Mead Boulevard in North Las Vegas on MLK and Lake Mead. We've got an amazing incubator. It's a free co-working space backed by UNLV, and we'd love to have you. Jason,
Yeah.
thank you, man.
Good to see you. Yeah.
Good to see you too.
So, well, thank you to all of the young folks who
Yeah.
you brought here today with us. Anybody else want to say hi, do a shout out on camera before we let you go?
Oh, cool.
I'm sorry? You're all from the same school. So, all right. Well, thank you guys for coming. I hope we'll get to see you next month, and I hope we'll get to see you down at the academy. So, all right. Who's next? Surreal, yeah, come on. Oh, I'm good. I'm warm, but we're hanging in there today. So
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I don't think we've gotten to talk like this ever.
No,
So
no, we haven't.
tell us who you are and what you have going on.
Well, there's so much stuff going on.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't try to say it.
Oh, right. Yeah, you should. Yeah. Well, I've been in Vegas since I was 3.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in the business world when I was 14. Like literally, that's how everything started. So, what's going on after? That's like the beginning intro, right? And then what's going on in Vegas? We have like multiple projects. Me and Elias work together in Nevada.
Yeah, you guys do a lot
Partners
of stuff together. So
on the projects, and then my stuff in the side too.
mm-hmm.
I do like a lot of projects, a lot of conventions, a lot of shooting.
Yeah, you do a lot of photography, a lot of videography,
Yes,
right? So
yes,
So tell us about who your clients are and what you're trying to do for them and that kind of thing.
more build like their personal brand on social media.
Okay.
I think it's more important, like the era we're living. If you don't have a brand, like nobody's gonna know you, and it depends what business you're going into.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I think we all need to, no matter what our business is, be leaning into our personal brand.
yeah,
We need to all get comfortable on camera. We need to all get
Yes.
comfortable taking pictures and
Yeah.
selfies.
yeah,
We need to all get comfortable speaking up for ourselves and
Yeah.
promoting ourselves a little bit more than
Yeah.
like when I was a young man coming up in the Air Force, that wasn't a skill you needed.
yeah.
But now everybody needs that skill.
yeah, and I
so-
feel like it doesn't like you don't need fancy equipment. You don't need fancy stuff like to start. You just need your phone.
Well, the phones are some of the best cameras and microphones out there.
Oh, yeah.
I actually will do stuff on a phone sometimes just because
Yeah.
it's easier.
Yeah,
And it's easier to set up than this kind of setup and
Yeah.
do the microphones and that kind of stuff. And it's, for the most part, it sounds just as good. And with a little cleanup, a little audio cleanup afterwards. And honestly, like colors pop so much more if you use an iPhone to film stuff.
Oh
So,
yeah, definitely. And yeah, most of my clients are like entrepreneurs, business owners. That's most of the clients. And I got to work with Ryan Pineda, so WealthCon like multiple times this
Yep.
year, like two to three times this year.
Yep.
So it's been amazing to be able to be connected with these people and learn from them. And then they have a camera 24/7. They do podcasting 24/7.
Yeah.
Back then I remember when I started about podcasting back in 2017. It wasn't that as popular as it is right now.
Well, it was harder to do.
Yeah, it was harder to
Yeah,
do.
for sure.
So that that's mostly my clients. That's mostly the people I work with. throughout,
Okay.
Here in Vegas.
What's a project you're working on that you're really excited about?
I'm gonna be going out of town.
Yeah?
Like for a project. It's a grape company, from August 26th to like 30. It's still some company out of town. Like I just don't know the name of it, but it's like a great company.
Yep.
I'm gonna be doing that one, and also like more projects on September 2.
Okay.
And that's mostly the stuff that I got going on. Plus, helping Elias with his campaigning stuff with Butterflies Move Purely. That
Yeah.
too. We're working on that too. And then like I also do my own Spanish events
Mhm.
to speaking stuff too, teaching people like why you need to implement AI.
Mhm.
Like even for my photography, like I give my photos to my clients in 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Like your photos, I would just take it with the live. I already send them to a live.
How are you using AI in a photography business? I think that's fascinating. Tell
Oh.
us how you're using it.
Oh, so I have an app that I'm using. I know I'm not getting affiliated by this, but
Mhm.
it's called Remini. It's an app that I've been using for a year.
Okay.
Like, so I just I took the photos right now of you guys speaking, and then
Yep.
they're already edited. And
They're
then-
already edited.
Yes.
You just he was just
Yeah.
standing there talking.
Yeah. Yes.
And now the photos are already edited.
yes, they're already edited, and they're already done. So
What a wondrous age we live in.
right. So like, usually, aren't you? Have you guys ever worked with photographers that take 3 months, a year, or never get your photos?
Or never get your
Yeah.
like there are
Yeah.
a lot of photographers
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
never get your photos
Yeah,
to use.
you
so.
never give them to you.
Yeah.
So my style was like, oh yeah, I'll give them to you, your photos right away. Like we could do a headshot, we could do anything. You get your photos right away.
Fantastic.
Like you're doing behind the scenes content or like an event, you get your photos right away.
Yeah. So
And-
if you're looking for a photographer and you want to get your photos quick,
Yeah.
holla at your boy here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So that's been super amazing. I started implementing that in December of last year,
Mhm.
and then I was like, I got so much good feedback, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna start using this more and
Okay.
more. So that's when I realized I'm doing more stuff quicker with AI, and then like now I'm starting to see some people starting to hop on it. But at the beginning, I was only one right now.
yeah. So
But-
you've taken the photo editing process,
Yeah.
the post production process,
Yes.
from weeks or months in some cases to minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes. So like 5 minutes, 5 seconds. Literally, that's what it takes. Literally, with the power of AI, and then it's only going to get better from there.
Yep.
You know.
Modern technology
know,
to
and
work
that-
for you.
Even last year when I was shooting events, it used to take me like 3 days.
Yeah.
I used to stay up like 4 a.m. editing photos. Now I just give it to my clients right away.
That's fantastic.
And then the reaction is like crazy.
Okay.
And the
And
hype,
you're teaching other people how to do this.
yes. Yeah, because I'm like, I don't like to keep my secrets. I feel like if you want to give more, you got to just give more. And then,
Well, because now it can be about who takes the best pictures, not
Yeah.
who turns them around fast enough,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or who does the best post production editing. Now now it can really be about who's a great photographer.
Yeah. And having a great eye,
Yeah.
But when I started back in 2019, I started with an iPhone 6, taking photos and videos
Mhm.
back then. So that's why I learned it through shooting through an iPhone back then before
Yep.
having a camera. But it's a whole different thing having a camera because you got to learn the settings, depending on the lighting. Like right now, or it's like like so it's so much behind the camera. It's just not taking photos, but also learning how to like shoot.
Yep.
That's most of the thing in the photography world. And then there's so much.
Because when I first took photography
Yeah.
long time ago,
Yeah.
like I learned a black and white photography with
Yeah.
a dark room and all that when I was in high school, and
Yeah.
it was about like the photography, like it was about developing the pictures and all
Yeah.
that. But that was not
Yeah.
that was not like what they were really trying to teach us was how to compose good pictures, how to
Yeah.
take good pictures, and we can get back to that now.
Yeah. But now, like, imagine we used to have the plastic cameras. I don't
Yep.
know if you ever used those before.
Oh yeah, those little
Like,
disposable cameras.
from Walmart.
Yep.
You like take them and then you still could take them to Walmart and then boom, and then But now it's like all digital. Now with AI, it makes it more faster.
Awesome. And
So-
you have some events coming up where you're teaching people how to do these kinds of
Yeah.
things.
Yes.
And they
then,
are Spanish language events.
Spanish and English.
Spanish and English.
Yes.
So where are those? When are they coming up? How can people get signed up?
Well, we're gonna have one in Nevada Partners first, like
Okay.
starting like every Friday,
Okay.
and that's like we're gonna do photography. I'm gonna go with you. We're gonna do some classes, and then we're also I'm gonna go with you in the field,
Okay.
like just one day, so I can teach you how to.
So
to shoot.
one-on-one kind of stuff.
Yeah, one-on-one.
Awesome.
That way you get comfortable with clients. That way you know what to do.
Okay.
I'm mentoring 2 photographers right now.
Excellent.
Like one of them got her first gig, and then this other person got their first gig too. So they're building the same system as I am. I'm doing the same system.
Yeah.
So you're just duplicating myself.
Share the lessons, right?
Just duplicating myself, and as a leader, and doesn't matter industry,
Yep.
you should be able to duplicate yourself
Okay.
and just create more leaders.
So how can everyone get a hold of you if they want to get signed up and come work with you?
It's at Surreal Cruise on LinkedIn and Surreal Cruise on
Okay.
Facebook, and all my social media is
He's on Instagram all
Yeah,
the time.
everywhere.
So we'll get that linked up as
Yes.
we pull these clips
Yeah.
out. We'll get that linked up
Yes,
for you so
and
people can reach out to you.
And I'll send you your photo. I mean, Elias already has your photos, but I'll send it to you.
Oh, I would love that because
Yeah.
I would love to get them posted as Instagram stories before the end of the day.
Yeah.
so.
So yeah.
So awesome. Well, Surreal, thank you
All
for
right, man.
joining us today.
Thank you, man. Thank
It's good
you.
to see you as
You too, you too.
always.
You got Josh here.
All right, yeah, Josh Stacy, come on down. I haven't seen you in forever. How are you
Been a
doing?
minute. Busy. I'm busy.
Yeah. What are you up to? What do you want to talk about? I know you've had so much going on, and I've got a million questions. But where do you want to start?
I'm gonna get this seat right. And
Okay,
then,
you get that seat right. I'm gonna actually,
there we
while you're getting your seat right, get
Yeah.
adjusted. I'm gonna swap the ice packs out
Oh,
on,
ice packs.
on
Hey.
these cameras. So I'm gonna ask you to
yes.
get your seat unright for a second as I swing by, because I think these ice packs are probably out of cold.
There I was thinking they were just weights. No, they're providing important cooling. Yeah, I used to do undercover work, and I'd have my camera in the car with me, and a lot of stuff charging. It would generate so much heat, I'd have to run the AC on it.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Thank you guys. See you later. Good luck, Josh.
Hasta luego, mi hermanos. We're chilling. We're chilling. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I can. It's a beautiful day in Vegas. It's cooled off for quite a bit. We were up to almost 120 degrees. 120 degrees. That's too much, man. It's too much. But we're like 100 now. I still hate it. I hate anything north of about 80. 90, that's bad. 100, oh, 100. Got a nice warm breeze here. It's like being through a blow dryer. But we're good. Jason LeDuc is getting the ice packs on, keeping that equipment cool. Nice, cool camera connections. Oh, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. We're getting there. Oh, no, Gravity. What are you doing to us, Gravity? Oh, Hajunk. Got some live street action.
That's a good guess, is to give the commentary on the behind the scenes.
We got to keep going on this. People don't know what's going on. This camera's on round 2 of the new ice pack. Round 3. Round 2. Yeah, attempt 2. This is all I've seen. Oh.
Hot ice packs.
We don't want temperature equality with the ice packs. Some need to be cold. Oh, you good?
All right. Ugh. Stuff over. All right. So we've managed to go. We've actually managed to go without having a camera failure from heat today, which is rare because the last 3 of these somehow have been above 110 degrees. So
That's what I was saying. Before I came to Vegas, I spent 3 years briefly in LA, in Marina Del Rey. It was 70 degrees and sunny every day.
it's about 2.5 years too long in LA, but
It was, although the 70 degrees and sunny every day, I
can't
do
beat the
miss
weather.
that.
But
And the sea lions, and I saw a dolphin from my balcony. But 6 months after I left, someone was shot and killed at 2 in the afternoon.
okay,
So LA can deal with its own problems.
pros and cons.
Pluses and minuses. So yeah, I've been busy. I lost my campaign.
Yeah, you were running for office. I didn't know if that's where you wanted to start. So
It's a place. I got 28% of the vote with 2% of the budget, which
it's not terrible considering you were a newcomer both to the area and to Southern Nevada politics. So.
I did quite well. Actually, I got a little bit of consulting work after that because
I
I
have
got
no
so
doubt.
much attention.
I have no doubt.
So
Maybe I need to run for office.
I think you should. I'll tell you, one of the things that I observed was we have a lot of folks. A lot of these races just don't have good candidates in them. Like, it's surprising, and it's like sometimes people are like, "Oh, I could never run for office. There's skeletons in my closet." That's fine. That's fine. Don't let that get in the way. But yeah, so what's good, Mr.
What's good?
LeDuc?
Well, we're not here to talk about me. I've been talking all morning.
Oh.
So you were running for office. You're doing consulting work. You're running demo time here now
I am.
at Tech Alley today. So I haven't mentioned it in a while with our last couple of guests, but we are here live from Tech Alley. We are in downtown Las Vegas, centered around Taverna Costera. They're our sponsors for the whole event. They're putting lunch on, and actually lunch is going on right now. free lunch. So if you're in Las Vegas, you're interested in tech, you're interested in seeing tech demos, you're interested in crypto, you're interested in AI, you're interested in drones, you're interested in robots, come on down and join the fun at Tech Alley in downtown Las Vegas. Completely free event. Not only is everyone welcome, we want you to come. We want you to be included. Come be part of this. And if you can't join us today, it's every third Saturday of the month here, centered around Taverna Costera in downtown Las Vegas and Charleston and Maine. So tell us about demo time. What do we have?
Demo time.
Do we know who's coming up in demo time as a surprise? Tell us what demo time is.
Yeah. So demo time is it's been hit and miss. Sometimes we've got some really fabulous demo times, and sometimes we have a hard time finding people to present. And so on my watch, this will be the first one on my watch. We have 3 folks ready to present. I know one of them is Nexus Arcana.
Okay.
There's one before that, one after that. But other than that, I don't know. My good friend Gabriel helped set everything up. He's not here today, but he did a good job.
All right.
Making sure we have a full roster, including a backup. If you have something you want to present, come on down. Demo time is meant to be sort of this opportunity to show off stuff. Maybe you're not Zuckerberg. Maybe you're not Musk. Maybe you're not sending space up. But you're doing something.
It's kind of the open mic night.
Yeah.
Of what's going on in the Las Vegas tech community. And, it's been, because I've been doing these the last few months, it's been a while since I've been in a demo time presentation. In fact, because we were doing some other stuff, a lot of times if I was speaking, I was opposite demo time. So it's been a while since I've been in demo time, but, sometimes people come in and they demonstrate this app they've been working on, and it's all fully formed and great, and that's great. And then sometimes people come with just like wireframes of what they want to do. And the best part is about demo time is it's all about giving these founders or entrepreneurs or people with a tech idea feedback, so that they can go improve what they're doing. So
and a part of it's also to be able to show off stuff. Like there's a lot more folks like with ChatGPT. I must say it. There's a lot more folks that are able to do more programming. So I've been more of a hardware guy, and I've done some programming. But my goodness, the stuff I can do now, it's crazy. So we've got, it doesn't have to be anything super fancy. It can be, but like there's a lot of folks, there's a lot of good questions in the room. There's a lot of folks don't understand just how much tech talent there is in Vegas.
Yeah, we were talking about that with Maria, who runs the AWS meetup that's going on at BlockFi.
Nothing against Maria, just to be clear, I'm not an AWS fan. I build on bare metal.
So we won't.
No, but it's fine. Look.
So we won't see Josh at the AWS meetup later in the month, but
that's fair. The AWS has made it a lot more accessible for folks to be able to build, and I love them for that. But they're just so damn expensive.
Yep. So, but we were talking about how there's much more tech talent in the community than people understand in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That's where I was going with that.
Well, and for those that don't know, I'm the CEO of a small software company.
Yep.
We have a lot of folks come to us looking for work, and they don't know there's engineers here. They'll be like, "Oh, I've been looking for years." I'm like, "Well, the third Saturday of every month, you can go down to the Arts District. There's a bunch of people here, and a lot of folks here are really collaborative. Like you said, I'm kind of new to Vegas. I've only been here a
couple of years,
coming up on 3 years.
Yeah,
and it's a very welcoming group.
Yeah,
it's a very friendly group. A lot of strong collaboration and some welcoming faces. We've got one of them over here who's not going to be on the camera.
He'll be on the camera in a bit. This is Josh's time though, not Kurt's time. We'll get Kurt his time. So yeah, you mentioned your company, and I know you've got your hands in a couple different things. But do you have any projects you're excited about with some of your other ventures? What are you working on?
Oh yeah. Well, so my company's part of what we're doing is working on trying to launch 1,000 products over a 10-year window, and we're coming up on the 200 mark. One of the coolest ones we have right now, it's going to be more about it soon, but it's a business, sort of like a business consultant and accountability partner. So you do a little intake, you answer some questions about your business, and then it creates a plan for you and helps walk you through that plan. So for a lot of folks that starting a new venture, they don't know where to get help. There's a lot of competing voices. One of the things on this too, a while back, this is probably 20 years ago, Tiger Woods was having a hard time with his game, which, imagine. He had a lot of coach. He had a separate coach for his swing, a coach for his stance, coach for this, coach for that. He ended up getting rid of them all. Just one coach. Because the one coach could look at the whole thing. And so that helped tune out a lot of the noise. He started playing a lot better. And so with this tool, it's the ability to have one coach that's going to have one cohesive plan. It's going to walk you through everything. So yeah, we're pretty excited about that.
So it gives you the plan, but there's also, you said there's an accountability piece as well.
yeah, like it will like text you and email you and be like, hey, here's this, and you can give it feedback and be like, oh yeah, I tried that and I ran into this
Okay.
problem and whatnot. But it's meant to really help business owners and entrepreneurs have that expert assistance without having to pay $5,000 for a consultant.
Yeah, well, I love the idea that it will text you or email you, because if my AI coach texted, like if someone texts me, I'm like, oh, I have to answer this.
Yeah.
I can't just, like, if it's an email, I can probably convince myself to ignore it, but like if it's a text, I'm like, oh, I gotta take care of this.
Well, a lot of people are doing texts, and the other thing is you can get on it instantly.
Mhm.
So I'm an email guy. If trying to get something from me, email's the way to go. Send me a text. The text notifications, once they're gone, they're gone. I'm like, well, okay,
Yep.
it was meant to be.
Yep.
But part of that's just meeting people with where they're at. We've got a lot
Yeah.
of great technology for that. And then yeah, we've got what else? Oh, we're really excited about trying to get into medical imaging.
Okay.
Really excited about that.
So
So-
AI medical imaging, or just
Oh yeah.
medical
So-
imaging in general?
So I have specifically using AI to read the images.
Mhm.
So I have a daughter who had 4 brain surgeries by age 2.
Mhm.
Pediatrician wasn't sure she'd live till 3.
Yep.
Now, good news is she turned 9 this year. Next year she'll probably turn 10. So that's great there. She's pretty cognitively challenged. And one of the things that could have helped her a lot, and certainly could help a lot of folks in the future here, is at one point for brain surgery 3, they opened her skull,
Mhm.
put sensors between her brain and her skull,
Mhm.
taped it all up again, and then surgery 4 was they opened it up again, went in and did their work.
Mhm.
These sensors were gathering data that you could read across 6 screens, and it's hard for even a trained human eye to read it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And with machine vision, we could have real deep insights off of a lot
Yeah.
less data. And so for me, I'm pretty personally driven on that. We have a lot of good tech for that now. So probably, in the next 2 to 5 years, we're hoping to really, because we can probably take the cost of reading an image down from, call it few hundred or a few $1,000s down to a nickel or 10 cents.
I would bet, yeah.
And so charge more for it, make some bucks and do that.
Yeah,
But
yeah. So
yeah.
don't charge as much, charge more, have a better profit margin, etc.
Well,
right?
and also increasing accessibility, like with a lot of even just like a broken x-ray. Let's say you break your arm, you go down to the ER, they take an x-ray. It can take a while, up to a few hours just to have somebody read the images.
Right, exactly.
And so with this, we could actually
Speed.
embed the software right on the machine. And so you could be getting so it's about increasing mission of the company, Big TB, is to democratize access to information, technology, and opportunity.
Mhm.
So if we have software that can do medical imaging, that just opens the floodgates and removes that from being a bottleneck on healthcare. And
Yep.
so, we're pretty forward. We have big goals and big ambitions.
Well, I think they're great ones, and I think they're timely and needed, because healthcare has a lot of bottlenecks right now,
Oh yeah,
and that's
no,
and
for
that's what a
sure.
lot of the expense is. So if we can start solving some of those problems with some great commercial technology, it'll still be a fight to bring the industry along, but
Well,
at
we
least
can fight with
at
them.
least we'll solve the technical problems, right?
For sure. Well, we've got really good tech for it, and we've got really good appetite for it. Like I think folks are more and more excited. Like, oh, well, can AI solve this problem? Oh, well, can AI solve that problem? And the answer is sometimes no, but
Yep.
sometimes yes.
Yeah, I mean, and it's probably more of a not yet versus a
Oh
no,
yeah.
right?
Well, and actually, like another product we're looking at. This is probably more within the next 12 months. Is an employee mental health benefit. So a therapy session might cost $85 to $185 a session. We're able to, with using language models, we can get our hard cost down to about 10 cents. And now, is it as good as sitting with a therapist? In some ways, yes, and in some ways, no.
Mhm.
But the idea is if we can help employers give access to their employees to this type of help, and do it for $10 a month per employee,
Mhm.
I think a lot of folks will be doing a lot better. And that's really like a big part of just my mission with things is how do you make life better for humans? And we've got a lot of great tools for that now.
Fantastic.
So many great tools.
Well,
for
it's
that.
exciting.
So excellent. Yeah, man, that's what I'm up to. That's what's cooking in
So
Vegas.
That's cool. Well, demo time is here. It is at 1:15, I believe. So
It's coming on
here,
up.
Coming up here pretty quick. And what room are you guys in? Are you
We're
guys
in the theater. We
Theater,
are the
big time.
fancy we're
Made it to the big time.
Oh yeah. Kurt
So-
gets it in the morning.
And then
for
you
who's
get-
got my money, and then we go back there.
And we're gonna. Kurt looks like he's eating lunch there right now. So I'm thinking I'm gonna pull Josh over here next and get a little update and recap on what's new with Tech Alley, and then we'll have Kurt on to talk about who's got my money. So-
Excellent. You want me to call out Levitt here?
So yeah, let's see if we can get Josh over here. Hey Josh.
Mr. Levitt, it's your turn.
All
Your
right.
turn.
So
All right.
before you go, tell everybody where they can reach you.
BigTB.com.
All right.
Or on LinkedIn. I'm connected with like 5,000 people. You could be one of them.
Yep.
All right, man.
Josh, would you do me a favor before you sit down? Would you take that camera and just slide it to your right about 4 or 5 inches? Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Perfect. I must have bumped it when I was putting ice packs on it, but welcome back. We didn't see you last month.
I know.
You were traveling.
I did. I went to South Dakota.
Yeah.
So I was driving through Wyoming and Utah. Beautiful. Wyoming is.
Yeah, so nice. Wyoming is so nice. I did pre-deployment training in Guernsey, Wyoming before my trip to Iraq back in 2012. In March and April of 2012, and I was living in Colorado at the time, so it wasn't like I should have been surprised what it was going to look like. But it was absolutely beautiful and quiet and peaceful out there.
And you know what I loved about it? So you drive down Interstate 80, and it's really I think their main economy is livestock and mining.
Yep.
And so you're driving down and you're seeing, just tremendous amount of livestock.
Yep.
And bunch of trucks, and you're going, this is commerce, right? This is a supply chain. You got the raw material, you got and you got your shipping to
Interstate 80 is good for that.
Nothing but trucks.
It's really how business works, right? It's logistics and the movement and all that.
And then their freeways are made right.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume it's pretty snowy during the winter and
Yeah.
pretty brutal. But they have a lot of the blockades and
the snow fences, which you don't see in a lot of parts of the country, but out in Wyoming, not even in Colorado do they have the snow fences like that. But,
Oh boy!
But Wyoming does. So
anyway, that was quite the experience. I would rather be in Nevada, but it was nice.
Agreed.
To see it.
Agreed. I don't want to live in winter. I will go visit, but I don't want to live in winter.
Yeah. So I got here. I drove all night, but I got here. Just time to catch the after Tech Alley.
Well,
afternoon.
Tech Alley went wonderfully last month. We had a wonderful live stream. We missed you, but so what's going on with Tech Alley? What's new? You guys have some new developments since the last time we had you on.
Always looking for things where Tech Alley can be a bigger impact to the community. I think to the business world as a whole, and so Tech Alley is mainly focused on events. And trying to build that tech and startup community. We worked on that in Reno. We did it in Denver and our home base here in Las Vegas. But we've been asking questions: how can we create more structure around what people can get out of Tech Alley? So we're looking on more of like that back end. How can where Tech Alley itself is community driven and is going to meetups and you gain that information right there. Where can we have that follow through and actually get people from idea to market? Or if you're already an established business, teach you how to get it to scale.
Yep.
Or at least give you the tools to sustain if that's your goal.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of businesses that's their goal. I want to be able to sustain my business, right?
Yeah. Well, we have a great session coming up later today on personal branding, right? That's kind of
I'm excited about that.
I am too. If you see Morgan down around, send her up. I'd love to get her on here
I will.
before.
I'll run down there after this.
Yeah.
So we restructured the website. So if you look at it now, there's a big focus on highlighting those that share knowledge with the community. We want to make them superstars, and we actually title that superstars. You can go in there and find more about those folks.
And that's what's great about Tech Alley is it's the community helping the community teaching the community.
Oh.
It's not outside folks coming in. It's not it's not university level folks. It's not Silicon Valley folks. It's we're all kind of teaching each other and helping each other out.
And I think that's why people say Tech Alley is like a safe place, right?
Yeah.
Because as an organization, we're not here to sell you anything, right? So you're not coming here expecting to get at the end of the day, well, I'm going to market you, and you can buy our product. The community gives the information, so it's an authentic exchange of knowledge.
And in fact, not only are you not selling people anything, you're actually trying to give people a lot of discounts on stuff. So there's something like $1 million worth of discounts on the Tech Alley website.
The Tech Alley website, right? An aggregate of all that stuff, and that's where we thought of this idea of could we become an association in some ways, right? So when people say, hey, I need to, what does it take to start my business? Well, here's all of the tools that you need to get from point A to point B, And here's all the connections that can help you get from point A to point B. And maybe you listen to how stories that people share that make it so you don't make the same mistakes. I was just talking to Rachel, who runs the Innovation Essentials meetup.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about, startup stories. And I said, I love the startup stories of those that struggled.
Yeah.
The benefit of struggle, right?
Yeah, the 10-year overnight success, right?
I want to hear, I want to hear more of the valleys and not so much of the
Not so much the peaks, right? Yeah.
right? Because I think I hate when people do this, but I'll say 90% of it is trying to fight yourself out of that that valley. And and a lot of the books you read and the stories you hear are all success. I want to hear the person that said, "Oh yeah, I put everything into it, and the service that I was using failed, and now my data was gone, and my business collapsed."
Yeah.
But here's how I fought out of that.
Yep.
And I try something different.
That's the story.
Those are the stories, right? I know that as a founder myself, every day seems like a struggle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I go to bed and say, Josh, just don't screw this up.
That's why I think so many entrepreneurs, once they have success, they start something new, because we need it. We need that.
Yeah.
We need the struggle.
I want to celebrate the struggles.
Yeah.
And and so on. So anyway, check out the new Tech Alley site. It's totally redone. Again, bigger focus on the people that are out there sharing knowledge. You're on there.
I still need to go and fill my profile out. I saw that email sitting in my inbox the other day as I was cleaning out emails. Like, oh, I better get that done for Josh. So
yeah, and I'm trying to, we're trying to put a better back end in so that people can update their information without me. And then anyway, it's been a good experience on my end. But I'm glad that we're seeing Tech Alley sort of mature into something even bigger.
Well, we have some great stuff coming up this afternoon. Josh Stacy, we just talked to. He's hosting Demo Time for the first time. So we're gonna have a great time there. He's got some good stuff lined up for us. It sounds like Morgan's talk is in the second group. Eric Lacasse is doing an SEO talk today. He came on and talked to us. So glad we were able to work that out. So
and we'll probably get him next month as well. And then Journey Gallery, which is this NFT gallery next door, we're starting to work with them. So James Arup will be doing a blockchain meetup there at 2:45.
Oh, okay. He's going to be in there today.
He's going to be in there today. And then, and then next month, I think we're going to open it up to more hours.
Okay.
So ideally, we'll have some meetups, and we'll see about
Yeah, maybe we'll do our podcast from there, so we're not putting ice packs on cameras and stuff like that. But I do love having our backdrop, and maybe it'll be a little cooler for us. But if that makes sense, we'll podcast out of there next time.
Yeah, we'll see what's happening. But
I also don't want to take meetup space. If someone's got a meetup, I'd rather we get a meetup in there than podcasting.
Well, we're doing it. It's a great day today. You can see downstairs. I think we hit probably 200 people.
No, that's fantastic.
And I love that number. And anyway, I always glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here. We're glad to do this. We're going to keep doing this as long as you'll have us. So, all right, thank you.
To see you.
If you see Morgan, please send her up. I want to interview her and get some insight into what her talk's going to be about today.
Done and done.
All right, thanks. Kurt Walker. How you doing, my friend?
Doing well.
Who's got my money?
Who's got your money?
How was the session this morning?
I think it was good. You'd have to ask the individuals that were there. We did a little bit about intelligent design of how we can create our own luck.
Okay.
And the design of how we build, fundraise, all that. And then we did a little bit of Ask Me Anything.
Yeah, so let's get into the Ask Me Anything.
Okay,
what were some of the pertinent questions?
Man, I think you'd watch the session to see, but a lot of emphasis on go-to market, which is how am I going to get my company into market? Not just marketing, that's a very critical component, but just in general, a lot of times it goes back to that. I get way more concerned about founders understanding how to make their company marketable and market ready than I do about funding ready, which is the next step, right? And so people tend to not understand that they get more obsessed with their product than they do the market, and it's usually better to have the market than the product.
Go to market is something that often gets left on the cutting room floor, and it's one of the most important things.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty much not going to make it if you don't do it.
Yeah.
So a lot of that, a lot of situational stuff around, how do we fundraise with this? And I explained fundraising season is now upon us. We're heading into September.
Yep.
And that we're running content at Fusion 42
Kids are back
for
in
that.
School. VCs are coming back from vacation.
Exactly.
Right?
So now's the time before Thanksgiving, and then like what they can do to get prepared for that, and how we're running sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and actually Wednesday next week.
Pitch Kung Fu.
Yeah, we got Pitch Kung Fu every Thursday.
Yep.
And just still running that, and then of course on the back end we were further advancing the machine learning part of what we're doing. to pair and match. So we've got a you fill out an application and it allows you to apply at multiple accelerators all at once.
Okay.
That's almost done.
That's going to be awesome. That's going to
Yes,
be that's
yeah.
going to be huge.
It's gonna be huge.
I can't wait to see
Yeah.
that.
And then, some stuff that might be boring to most people, like a gigantic scraper where we're able to scrape all of the founders' information off their website, and same thing with other funders. And then we're ingesting all this data to see, what are funders saying versus what they're doing? What are founders saying versus what they're doing?
Oh, I love
and
that
being able
idea.
to do that. And that has been quite the build. And then, there's a bunch of other little things like publishing emerging fund data.
Oh, okay.
So we don't really believe that lists are that valuable because most founders don't know how to approach an investor list anyway. They don't know how to market to them. They don't know how to have a relationship with them. But what we do think is valuable is when a bunch of funds are about to hit the market and they need to deploy capital. That's probably a pretty timely list for a founder.
Yeah,
to have in their hands.
that's great to
Yeah.
know. If you've got some intel on, hey, we've got a bunch of funds who are looking to make some moves. That's
So
really valuable.
That's part of the data. And then, just in general, for those that don't know, Fusion is a community front end, accelerator middle, and then pairing and matching engine back end. But really on the front end, it offers real-time feedback. You want feedback, you want guidance right now. Come hang out in the Telegram rooms. We've got one based on AI, best practice in financial modeling, any topic you can think of, GTM. And then we have horizontal tracks that go for 6 weeks to 3 months. They really go deep into different subjects. So it's all there. It's all free.
It's all there. It's all free. It's
And, we also have a fast track fundraising as a service program. That's not free, but that's because you're basically getting a bunch of experts to work alongside of you. But the do it yourself, that's all free.
So let's pull back a second. You talked about founders don't really know how to build a relationship with a funder or VC.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some fundamentals there, because I'm hoping we've got some founders watching, or maybe we'll be watching this not live, but because your videos, whenever we clip them out and put them on the channel, they are real popular.
Thank you.
So so let's talk about that idea of, if you're a founder, if you're a new founder, what are the things you should be thinking about to go build that relationship with and not just one, but multiple funders and VCs and angel investors?
So the first thing is always play the long game. Get to know funds, find ways to be helpful to them, even if you're bringing them another founder to pitch. Just take the long road, because maybe they decide they're not interested now. Maybe they have another funder that is interested. Just play the long game and look at them as people, not as piggy banks.
Sometimes it's not the right time for that founder to deploy, or that funder to deploy their money in your thing.
Yep.
And that maybe that's not great for you, but maybe you're doing a thing later on where it is the right time for them to deploy that money.
The second is get fundraising fluent and understand the different capital types and different conversations that you can have, and start to understand where is the capital actually hiding out. So that's the reason we do fundraising fluency sessions. And then third,
and it's not hiding out where you think it is.
No, it's not. And VCs only represent 3% of the available liquidity that's out there. So chasing after them, while it can be very, very effective for certain types of startups, you're leaving a lot of money on the table, and you're basically choosing a business model when you choose to do VC. So, and it can be great. It can also be detrimental to what you're building.
It's like chasing a Playboy model. Everybody trying to date the same Playboy models.
Yeah.
When there are lots of girls out there.
Right. And then also to understand that you may not be aware that there's different types of capital that you can stack into your business. So there are individuals out there that are willing to write checks based on the impact and the outcome that they want to see that you can provide. And sometimes those checks do not come with equity and don't come with a loan or interest in your business.
Yep. Or revenue, right?
Right.
You talk, revenue deals.
Right. And or maybe they can help you with a contract that, you got $2 million in rev, which is a great way to start your company.
It's a much better way to start your company than giving up 20% or 25% of your equity.
And there's nothing wrong with giving up equity. Just make sure you give it up to the right marriage, because you are getting married.
Yep.
So there's a lot more that we could say, but we call this capital discovery. Get to know them as human beings, get to know what their investment thesis is, make sure it's a match for you, and then understand that there's capital players out there where the ownership in your business is not their main driver. It's impact or outcome that you can help provide. Now, the way you approach them is completely different than the way you would approach a professional investor that's a VC, because a VC is looking to place capital, whereas a sponsored capital check writer or raised revenue check writer, they're doing it because they're in the legacy stage of their lives, or they want to give back, or there's something that you're doing that they want to see happen in the market, or for the region, or for female founders, or for Latin American business owners.
To make an impact somewhere in the world, right?
Yeah, and they've earned the right to be a founder funder, which is our whole North Star, right? We want to help founders become founder funders. And there's a lot of things that they need to learn in order to do that. And fundraising fluency is a big part of it, along with the GTM that we were talking about, go-to-market.
And you can learn all of that for free
Yes.
with Kurt and his program. So tell everyone where they can find that.
Yes, I believe you go to fusion-42,
Okay.
And then come hang out with us online, our sessions.
Tuesday,
our
Wednesday,
YouTube.
Thursday, right?
Yeah, we have stuff throughout the week in Europe, here in the United States. We have events in Vegas and in Dubai. And then, of course, you have the Telegram group with all the channel champions and the experts.
So jump in,
Yes.
get to know people in these
Yeah,
groups, build
absolutely.
the relationships. You'll be glad you did. It's the key to
And
everything.
the main thing that you can count on is you're going to get additional clarity and real advice and feedback in real time.
Awesome.
All
Awesome. Anything else you're excited about coming up?
All sorts of stuff. Family office events, venture studio events, continuing to build a funding platform, doing more portfolio, investment, all that kind of stuff.
Well, jump in, join the groups.
Yep.
You can get to know Kurt, get to know the other angel investors, VCs, the other founders,
Right.
and you will find out about all these great events that are coming on. Anything going on with the venture houses?
Yeah, we're working on some events. Not ready to talk about those just yet, but
Okay.
yes, always. And then, of course, we have Angel X, which is our kind of like we have for founders, a place for them to really learn the ropes. We have for angel investors.
Which I think is so important. I think
Yeah.
that's actually almost more important than helping the founders.
Yeah, it's super key. Angels are the least supported. So if that's you want to get more involved in learning to write checks and syndicate deals and support founders and build ecosystem and all that, angels provide a critical and crucial first interest
Absolutely.
in a lot of these businesses.
Absolutely.
They are
It's
the
what-
pioneers.
It drives the engine.
So we love it. All right.
So I got to jump in a little more and
do it
and spend more time with you
Do it.
online. But thanks for coming.
All right. See
And
you guys
we
there.
will see you. Enjoy Tech Alley. All right. Do you want to join us? Have a seat. Would you put your hand on top of that camera, that ice pack on that camera, and see if it's still cold? Right on the camera.
Do you want me?
On the tripod, yeah. Is that still kind of cool?
Has it been overheating?
It's not solid, but it's cool. Okay, good. We'll be all right to get at least through this one then. So we have to keep our 5G Wi-Fi and our camera cool in this heat. All right, I'm Jason.
Joe.
Joe,
Pleasure to meet you.
tell us about you and what you're into.
Sure. My name is Joe Mahavutivani. A transplant from San Francisco. I've been here about like 3.5 years. I guess, currently the founder of Go Boldly, which is an AI-powered financial education platform. And we help, banks and credit unions and financial institutions meet their CRA goals, as well as help really anybody of all ages, take control of their financial wellness.
Okay, so tell us what CRA goals are.
So the Community Reinvestment Act requires that banks and credit unions basically provide education and resources and that sort of thing to help their low to middle income customers, get ahead essentially.
Okay.
So that's something that financial literacy is something I'm really passionate about. And I guess, coming from the Bay Area, we've had a lot of access to opportunities and capital. So I guess by way of background, my background's in product and growth at startups of all stages. Spent about 4 years in venture capital, investing in fintech and enterprise SaaS companies, about 200 portfolio companies. Left there to start a company called Mythic Markets, where we created an alternative investment platform with about $70 million in collectible assets in the portfolio. We were acquired by a fund admin called Sidecar about 3 years ago. I left there because I really, frankly, discovered that, I wasn't super passionate about making software to make rich people richer. And so, wanted to leave and do something good. Spent some time angel investing in about 24 deals, and discovered this kind of common problem of financial literacy. And so, I was helping friends, on a one-on-one basis with their personal finances, and decided to bottle it into a mobile and now web-based platform.
Okay, very cool. Very cool. So where are we going with this? What's the future? Are you guys, what's...
Yeah, so we are starting to deploy into credit unions and banks, as well as Las Vegas schools. So, middle and high schools primarily in the Southwest, and then working with a number of nonprofits as well to provide free financial literacy education to their students.
That's fantastic. Are you connected up with United Way at all in Southern
No.
Nevada? Back when I was connected up with them, they were running financial literacy programs in some of the elementary schools and middle schools. And they actually had a program where they were like creating like a bank for kids to kind of learn some of the lessons about savings and that kind of stuff. So that could be, I don't know if they're still running those programs, but that could be a really great connection for you.
Yeah, that'd be incredible. I will look into connecting with them.
Yeah, absolutely. So is this your first time at Tech Alley?
No, been coming on and off for a few years.
Okay.
It's a great community for the Las Vegas Valley, and there's a lot of companies that are and individuals building some interesting technology here.
Yeah, it's I think Tech Alley is so great, and Josh and I were talking about it. What's so great, one of the things that's great about it is it's the community helping the community, right? We're all helping each other grow. We're sharing what we know, like a real tech ecosystem does, and that's a great start to help build our tech ecosystem. It's always great when folks come out of Silicon Valley or come out of other startup communities to help us learn the lessons on how to build a really strong startup community.
I mean, ultimately, the community is what sets Silicon Valley apart and makes it super powerful. And I think the first instinct of most people in the valley is how can I be helpful, and wanting to help, because you never know if you're sitting next to the next Zuck or whoever else. And everybody wants to look up and try to meet this founder, this investor, whoever. But it's actually just as useful, if not more, to look laterally to your peers because everyone's grown together. So, your network is your net worth. I'm sure everybody's heard that before.
Yeah.
But everybody in the valley knows each other.
Yeah.
So, it's a hyper powerful network, and people who go through companies, and either start their own or through, hyper growth companies and successfully exit, are then turning around and giving back and reinvesting in the communities.
Yeah, and that's what I hope we can develop here, is that same kind of mentorship, that same kind of turning around and giving back, and I think that will help us make our startup community here a lot stronger. So we're always glad when folks come from the Bay Area and want to give us some advice and help us do that.
It's been a great couple of years. So
awesome. Well, what are you excited about coming up?
Let's see. A lot of personal travel, but I think locally, I know it's a controversial subject, but I'm a big fan of Formula One. Really enjoy when they came to town last year. For all of its faults and missteps.
It was the first time they had to do a bunch of repaving. Let's be fair about what had to happen last year, and it looks like this year there's going to be some improvements. It's going to be better, and that I think is what we're going for. Let's make it better, and let's see what we can do to help out some of the businesses that were negatively impacted, and so let's just do it better year after year after year. And it sounds like downtown is going to try to run some events the same thing. It's also Global Entrepreneurship Week, so we've got some entrepreneur events and some veteran events going on that week, and some veteran entrepreneur events going on that week. So I think it's going to be a fantastic week.
Yep, I'm super excited about it.
So I'm excited about it as well. Like I said, as long as we're doing a little better every year with it, I think it's moving in the right direction. So
continuous improvement.
All right, well, tell everyone where they can reach you, whether it's for financial literacy stuff or for the other stuff.
Yeah, so Go Boldly is available on iOS and Android as well as web now. You can find more information to download at gobold.ly. It's free. Would love your feedback on it. And
all right.
We are also continuously improving.
All right, great. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you
for having me.
Do you mind if I have Morgan next? Because I know she's got to get to a session. And I'm going to, before you sit down, Morgan, I'm going to change the ice pack off of that camera. Well, I appreciate that, but I do want to get you on camera. We just wanted to talk about what's coming up for the session today, how you got Tech Alley, and this is your first time coming.
No, I originally involved with Josh when he brought Tech Alley to Reno.
Okay.
So this is probably my second time around Las Vegas.
But this is your first time doing a session.
Yes, yes.
How do we look here? Still look good. All right. Come on and join me, ma'am. Oh yeah, please do. And I would love it if you would send it to us so we can post on social media and stuff too. So. All right. Well, welcome. So, Morgan, I forgot your last name. I apologize.
Morgan Young.
Morgan
It's all
Young, you
good.
are Miss Clark County right now.
Yes, that's
so,
right.
So we will get into all that. But you are here at Tech Alley today. You were doing a session for the first time at Tech Alley.
Yep.
So tell us all about the session you're going to do, how you got connected with Tech Alley, what you're excited about with your session today.
Yeah, absolutely. So my session is how to build a personal brand with LinkedIn, and kind of how I got into that. I just graduated college 2 months ago from University of Nevada. Thank you, Reno. And I pretty much built a platform and a personal brand on LinkedIn for the last 3 years. It all started, I got my first internship at Disney during COVID, and it was just like a really weird time, but I also thought being a Disney intern was the coolest thing in the world. And so I decided to start talking about it on LinkedIn. And before I knew it, you know, a year goes by and I've built up like pretty decent sized following, nothing too crazy. And in that time, actually, I was really surprised because to me, 2,000 followers on LinkedIn is like kind of nothing. But at that time, Josh noticed me on LinkedIn, and he was bringing Tech Alley to Reno, and he invited me to come to the first Tech Alley. And obviously I was like, oh, this is so cool, I'll go. But I was so honored to be invited because I think it's Josh's sister that was running the promo for the event. And I asked her, I said, why did you guys tag me? Like, why did you invite me? And she said, well, we saw you on LinkedIn and you just seem to be this really big presence in Reno and on the UNR campus, so we just had to have you. And I was like, that's so cool, especially because I was like, I only have 2,000 followers at the time. And now it's just...
Well, to be fair, 2,000 followers on LinkedIn is a ton. It's not like Instagram. 2,000 followers, if they are real connections, is a ton of followers on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and it's morphed into so much more now. Like I said, I just graduated 2 months ago, and I have 58,000 followers on LinkedIn now, and I'm a LinkedIn top voice for Gen Z.
That's
I'm also
great.
one of the youngest ever LinkedIn learning instructors, so that's kind of how I got involved with LinkedIn. But the reason I'm so excited to teach this session today is because, you know, UNR is not a super well-known school. I didn't even know it like existed until I was probably a junior or senior in high school. You know, I grew up in California, and so my whole life was just about private schools in California, University of California, and then obviously I ended up going to UNR. But UNR is not like very name recognizable, especially in the tech industry, which is what I graduated with my degree in computer science, and I'm starting my job in tech in a month, but it's not a super brand recognition name. And the hard part of that when you're going and applying for internships is you don't get that same benefit of the doubt that the kid from Harvard or Stanford gets.
Right,
and
especially in Silicon Valley, right?
Exactly, and you also don't have the same alumni network as they do, and so you're kind of competing at a disadvantage. But I like to think of myself as an optimist. I try to see the silver linings in every situation, and I was like, I'm not going to let this whole lack of brand name recognition handicap me. I'm going to make it my superpower. And so I kind of had this little underdog narrative going on LinkedIn and telling my story. And so I just started creating a bunch of content around it. And now what I have found is, and what makes me so passionate about LinkedIn to begin with, is the ability for it to level the playing field for anyone. It doesn't matter what your background is, it doesn't matter how you grew up, it doesn't matter what college you went to, it doesn't even matter what you get your degree in. All that matters is the portfolio of work that you build for yourself and the visibility you can gain from building a platform. But literally anyone can do that. I started doing it at 18 years old with no background in writing or marketing or branding or any of that, but I've kind of just like stumbled my way through it, and it's worked. So that's really what I'm excited to teach here today.
Okay, well, let's go back a little bit. You interned at Disney,
Yeah.
which is a highly coveted internship,
Yeah.
I imagine. What did Disney have you doing for them?
So I was actually, it's a really funny story. I was applying for a software engineering internship because obviously that's where my brain was. Being a computer science major, I'll go be a software engineer. And specifically, I interviewed with the corporate division of Disney under the Enterprise Technology division. Enterprise Technology oversees all of the employee-facing technology for the entire enterprise. But then I got there and my boss was like, yeah, actually the engineering team that requested you, they finished their project ahead of time, so we're just going to place you where we think you'd be a good fit. And I ended up getting placed with service management, which is very similar to product management, but it's usually managing more mature and legacy products, software products. And so I felt like I was doing everything. I couldn't really come up with like a finite job description for my job. I was coding, I was building, but I was also writing. I was writing documentation. I was managing like software pilots that we were like testing out new technology within the company. So I kind of just ended up doing everything, but that translated into me going into product management a year after, which is now what I figured out that I love, and it's the job that I'm starting in a month. Not at Disney though.
That's my next question. So you said you're starting your tech career. So,
yeah.
So what's coming up next?
So I will be starting as one of several actually in the Apprentice Product Manager rotational program at Shopify. It was a super competitive process this year. There was over 12,000 applicants, and I felt so lucky to even be considered for it. But it was one of those things, again, the recruiter reached out to me on LinkedIn about it. Like it wasn't an opportunity that I necessarily went after cold. I already had some visibility and call it credibility, I guess, and brand recognition going into the interview process. Obviously, it takes a lot more to get past the interview process, but that's what helped get me there. And so just another testament to building a platform on LinkedIn.
How many rounds of interviews did you have to do for that job at Shopify?
3. So
okay, that's not bad. I mean, there are companies that are doing like 7 or 8 rounds of interviews right now.
Yeah, personally, I'm not a big fan of those. I think you should be able to figure out if a candidate is a good fit for a job within like 2 to 3, and I had 3. So I had a recruiter screen, I had a mini case interview, and then I had an extended case interview.
Okay, very cool. All right, so shifting gears a little bit, you're clearly in pageants.
Yes, yeah.
We know friends of the show, friends of Tech Alley, folks like Lisa Song Sutton, really great career women, investors, entrepreneurs, that kind of thing. They've all been through pageants.
Yeah.
What did pageantry teach you about leadership? What did it teach you about business? What did it teach, what lessons are you taking from that you're applying in your upcoming tech career?
It's amazing because, pageants have a lot of negative stereotypes around them, but I honestly think pageantry is one of the best leadership and business trainings for women. So I actually got into pageants, honestly, to boost my confidence. The person that you hear today was not the person I was when I was younger, and I got in it really to just not be scared talking in front of people.
How old were you when you got into it?
My mom put me in like glitz pageants when I was really, really young.
It's always the mom.
Yeah. But then I started getting into like pageants where I actually had to talk and take it seriously when I was 12. And that's when I actually started taking it seriously. But I mostly did it in middle school and high school for the scholarships because Miss America gives out literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in scholarships every year, and actually did help me go and pay for my school and graduate debt-free. But as far as leadership in business, you as, a local title holder or a state title holder or even the national title holder, you are a leader in that you're a role model. You are someone that young women look up to, and not only young women, but the entire community. The entire community looks to you to set an example with what you do. And for me, that's like my leadership style is leading by example, but also servant leadership, serving your community and getting out there and showing that you are not only a representative and an ambassador of your community, but you are a servant of your community. And so it certainly taught me so much about leadership. But as far as business, I really feel like it should be called like a pageant MBA or something, because in pageants, specifically with the Miss America system, you have to think of your title and your year as a business. Number one thing that we have to do is raise sponsorships, and that's to support the scholarship fund. So every year I raise money for the Miss Nevada Scholarship Fund, and we have to go out and get sponsors to help pay for not only the scholarships, but also the expenses that come with participating in a pageant. And then also it depends on what you decide to do. We have this thing called a community service initiative. Mine is actually my nonprofit, which is called Innovate Her. And so not only are you raising sponsorships, you're raising money for your nonprofit. As a second thing, Miss America especially really places emphasis on building your social media presence and building visibility through social media. And so you have to figure out how to grow your social media. You have to figure out a strategy for that. You have to play all of these different types of roles. You have to be a fundraiser, you have to be a social media manager, you have to be a community volunteer, and you're in a sense like kind of the CEO of like this brand of your title. But I mean, also Lisa Song Sutton is someone I admire very, very much, so I'm glad you brought her up. But yeah, pageants has taught me so much about business and leadership. It really should be packaged into some sort of like pageant MBA or something, but I would not be and I've started my own business. I have my personal brand that I monetize. I'm also building a marketing agency, which is not easy being fresh out of college, but all of the stuff that I've learned in pageants has helped me get to this point. I would not be here, and I wouldn't be the leader or business person I am without pageants.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I think all of us need to be thinking about all of our businesses as some kind of media agency at this point, and getting our personal brands out there. Well, that is all super fascinating. I'm going to have you on my other podcast, which is all about leadership and business at some point. And we can have a very in-depth discussion about the Pageant MBA. You heard it on Live from Tech Alley first, the Pageant MBA, hashtag it Pageant MBA. So, but what's coming up in your session today? What are some of the highlights people are going to get from your session?
Yeah, so kind of something new that I'm like a new set of terms that I'm coining is I try to start with why. Why should anyone build a personal brand? And my kind of hypothesis is that everyone falls under one of three categories, if not more, than one of those three categories, which is a builder, a climber, or a creator. A builder being someone who is an entrepreneur, an engineer, an innovator, someone who's building the products and services of the future. And a climber is someone who's climbing the corporate ladder, whether that's in corporate, government, nonprofit, NGOs. And then there's creators, the people that are creating the content that we consume on the daily. Most people fit into at least one of these categories, if not all three. I happen to go into all three. But anyone that fits into those categories, which is basically everyone, can benefit from building a personal brand. And that's what it's going to start with. We're going to start with why. But then something I'm really excited about, and something that I've kind of like, not trademarked, but kind of like coined in my presentations, is being on LinkedIn for so long, I have figured out what it takes to create a viral post, and I figured out what creates this virality in a post. I taught a workshop at Harvard at the Harvard Recode conference back in February, and it was funny because this was the first time I'd actually gone to test it out. I was saying, hey, this is the formula, and I'm saying, hey, this is from my experience, but frankly, no one else has ever tried it, so let's try it. And I challenged my audience to make a post on LinkedIn that day about the workshop using the formula that we had taught them. And one of the students in the workshop went very, very viral. She had over, I want to say, 100,000 impressions within the first day of her posting. And she did not have a big following. I think she only had probably about 1,500 connections and followers at the time. And so to get 100,000 impressions being that small and of a creator is incredible. And so we proved that it works. And so I'll be sharing this formula in my class today. So probably the thing I'm most excited about.
So if you are in Las Vegas and you are on LinkedIn and you are looking to create not even viral content, just content that's going to make an impression and get impressions for you and make an impression on your audience, you need to be down here today at Tech Alley 245. You are in room 155?
155, I think, yeah.
Why don't I look it up instead of guessing? You are in, yes, you are Morgan Young, Suite 155, building personal brand. So you can come and get the formula at 245 today. And for folks who can't make it down here today, how can everybody reach you?
So you can connect with me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is the normal LinkedIn URL / it's Morgan Young. You can also find me on Instagram /it's Morgan Ashley. And then you can also find me on my website. My brand name and I guess you could call it my alias, is That LinkedIn Girl. So you can also find me on thatlinkedingirl.com. You can also find me on my nonprofit's website, innovateher.io. But yeah, plenty of ways to find me online.
Well, that is fantastic. Your personal branding is on point with all of those handles and names for everything. So well done. So yes, we have a lot to talk about. Would love to have you back on my other podcast at some point. Thank you for joining us today, Morgan. Was really excited to talk to you. I'm glad we were able to do this today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's called Live from Tech Alley, but it's all affiliated with Tech Alley. So, but I'll reach out and get your it's Morgan Ashley on Instagram, and then oh, that's probably the easiest thing to do. Yeah, no, I would love whatever you guys are willing to share. We would love to have that to cut into when we, we're going to probably take this and turn this into a clip to put out next week. And then, we would love to have that. So I will reach out to you in all of these places, and then we will connect up and what was your name? I'm Jason. Parker? Yeah. Very nice to meet you. So well done, sir. Well done. All right, Sean, get in this seat. Let's catch up with you. Definitely the hot seat. And I think unless somebody comes back up here, you're going to be the last one today before I sign off, because I am out of ice packs.
save the best one for last.
That's right. Save the best one for last. What is going on, my friend?
No, it's been good. At least for Claritative, we onboard a couple of salespeople, and I always say like, know what you're good at, and know what you're not.
Yep.
Sales is not what I'm not good. I'm not good
agreed.
at sales.
Agreed.
Yeah, what I mean, like I can talk about the product, I can talk about a company.
Yep.
I can get people excited.
Yep.
The whole sales process is just a mystery.
Yeah, it's one of those things I struggle with the most in my business too.
Exactly.
So I'm glad you took the plunge and hired some sales folks.
Yeah,
so.
no, for sure. I think that's going to be really exciting. I have somebody else too that's helping them out to kind of like, get things rolling. So yeah, like that's really the main thing. And yeah, I'm glad to be back at Tech Alley. It's been a while since I came down.
Well, it has been super hot the last. Like we're like getting a little break. We've been doing these since May.
Yeah.
And May, June, and July.
Yeah.
110 degrees plus, even in May, which blew my mind. And we're at a cool 102 right now. So
yeah.
So I'm happy, although it's a little muggy today, so we're all sweating a little bit. But
No,
it's
for
not
sure.
above 110. It's about 10 degrees cooler today.
Which is okay, right?
Than it was
Vegas.
last month.
Yeah.
And I'm quite
Yeah.
okay with that. So remind everybody what Claritative is for the audience who may just be tuning in.
Yeah, no, for sure. So Claritative is, I call it a conversational intelligence platform. And what that means is that we analyze and generate insights from all your conversation, be it sales calls, refinement sessions, team conversations.
Yep.
And what's great about Claritative is we can actually focus it on what you need. What's the output that you need?
Yep.
Is it how to close a prospect? Is it how to get your team better? Is it to QA a call just so that you can, understand how you can get your salesperson to be in that better place, right?
Yep.
So, because we did a study on, sales leaders and sales directors, like how often do they actually review they're supposed to, it's part of their task.
How
right?
often do they actually do it? Never, right?
Never,
So,
or maybe once or twice. If they're good, 5 times a week, and if they have a team of 10, it's about 95% that's not being done.
Yeah.
Right.
So it takes all your conversations and turns it into actionable
insight.
things you can do.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
and then those actions can be very kind of configured to what you need for your business, right? Because as you know, like you have all of these similar platforms that transcribe and summarize, but they're very generic. They'll give you the same kind of like output. What we can do is we want to be very focused. Like, what is the needs of your business? What type of insights do you actually want? Right, and we can refine that to provide you the proper actions that you need for your business.
Excellent. So because you're hiring a sales team for the first time, we get into a little bit of a topic that we don't always get to get into when we're talking at Tech Alley. So what have you learned about your sales cycle as you are hiring your sales team?
That it always changes, and I guess because I think I just came from Kurt's session, right? Kurt always has a great session. It's like in terms of your go-to market, or is you need to kind of refine that because it changes over time. And I think that's the same thing for my our sales cycle. Is it's not a one call and then you're done.
Yep.
Right. Because it's not about the being difficult to explain the business and the value of the business. It's really about understanding the needs of that one prospect, that one user, and refining over time to give them the proper solution that works or that satisfies their needs. So, and to be honest, we're new in this process, so we're probably going to gonna learn more and more and more, and we're gonna get refined until we get it down to a T. But we're definitely not there yet.
Good thing you have a tool that listens to your conversations and gives you actionable things to do, right?
Exactly.
So,
yeah, that's exactly the point, right?
So,
and I think, that's what we use it for, and we actually use it for to get ourselves better too. So we put it into tools like, hey, this is kind of you said basically, or you said, does that make sense? Several times.
Yep.
Maybe you need to.
So maybe it doesn't make sense.
It
right?
doesn't make sense.
So so what were you when you were hiring salespeople for your team? What were you looking for?
And this is the same thing that I do for kind of anybody that I bring into the organization is that drive and desire. So I care more about okay, well, do they have that hunger to want to achieve, right? And do they believe in what we're building? that they want to, like especially so early in this game, right? Do they actually believe in our vision that what we want to do, like in the product or in kind of like the problem that we're trying to solve for, that they want to be part of this organization, right? Like the whole like experience in sales or experience in a specific task is probably not as important in my things that I look for, because I'd rather have somebody that's that's kind of like hand in hand with me in going on this journey.
Yes, I mean that's that's stuff you can teach, the culture part, the drive part, but a lot of us don't want to do that. We want come with that. We'll teach you the nuts and bolts about the business.
Exactly. And then, to be honest, like we're learning about the business too. It's like like I'm not a serial entrepreneur. Like
no, you came out of product development in the corporate world.
Exactly. So like as I learn and as I grow and as we grow as an organization, it's probably going to be the same way with the people that's taking or the folks that's joining in this journey.
Awesome. So you've got this new sales team. What were your marching orders that you gave them? What are your instructions to them?
So what we wanted to think about it a little bit differently from a go-to-market perspective, right? Because Clarative is all about clarity and focus, right? So it's not about, okay, well, let's, kind of like have a whole bunch of prospects and then we'll just see what sticks and then get that 5% and then convert those, right? So we want to be very strategic on who we want to, so it's almost like account-based marketing, right? Where we identify kind of like the companies we want to kind of like work with that we think is are ones that will really benefit from our solution, and then kind of like approach them and then really build that relationship. It's not going to be, it's going to be, the marching orders, this is not going to be a, like one and done. This is like the epic, right? The long story. And then, like we're sort of kind of like growing this, maybe not so fast, but organically and I believe stronger.
Awesome. Well, we definitely want Clarative to have a very long story, to be around for a very long time to come.
For sure. Appreciate that.
What's exciting coming up with Clarative? What's exciting coming up with the product?
So the product, we've actually just finished development on the ability to kind of like customize. We call it tailored AI, right? So as we mentioned, right, depending on the organization, they may have different needs. Like I want Clarative to just focus on like quality assurance for my, like customer service team. And, it's making sure that they're actually hitting the right points. Are they being courteous? Are they building a rapport? Are they explaining, like getting insights on the problem and so on and so. So that is, like we're actually finished development on that. That's actually coming out right now. So which gives it, like really that flexibility, right? Because again, each company is different. Each person is different. Each person is unique.
Well, what comes to mind here is, and not just for sales teams or product teams or that kind of thing, but with that kind of capability, you can really make sure that your company culture, the one you want, the desired corporate culture, is being embraced by everyone, and you can tell it is or not by the conversations they're having, right?
Exactly.
And the words they say and the actions they take, and that's the hardest thing. That's the hardest thing. Like if you're a CEO or in the C-suite and you've worked so hard on this is what we want the culture, the corporate culture to be, and then you find out it's way different at the front line, and it's the frontline managers aren't enforcing it, and they aren't keeping it up and being guardians of the culture as well. And now you guys have put in the hooks into Clarative to make sure that information can bubble to the top and go, oh, this is what we think the culture is, and this is how it's really happening.
Exactly.
And now as like a C-suite guy, I can be like, okay, I need to spend a little more time out front.
Exactly.
And talk about how important these values are.
And then this is actually very important. I love that that insight, because exactly what you said, right? It's not necessarily like, it's not that they don't want to enforce it. They don't even know.
They don't know, and that's the biggest challenge is you don't in the C-suite or even at the director level or even maybe from middle managers on down. Unless you can't be on the floor or whatever the front line is every minute.
Or you can't listen to all conversations. It's not, it's not possible.
But Clarative can.
But Clarative
and not in a weird, creepy way either.
Yeah.
So it sounds so valuable. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So,
we're excited about kind of like rolling this out as well.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be very.
You guys gonna exhibit at CES this year?
I'm trying to. So we might kind of like do the kind of like the what do you call that? The startup area.
Yeah, no, I think you guys should because you attended last year.
You attended last year.
You got a really good idea what goes on.
And I think like last year we weren't as ready. We thought it was ready, but like you sort of like, oh, you just put it out there and kind of learn.
Yeah, you see what it takes to play in the majors when you go attend, especially when you walk around that startup area, that startup pavilion.
Yeah.
You really see what it takes to be in the majors to exhibit at CES.
Yeah, and that's what like we're aiming for right now is to be able to get a booth in that startup area because I think that's it's a big event. It's the main event. Yeah.
Well, Global Entrepreneurship Week is coming up.
Yeah,
there's going to be a bunch of you guys going to participate in that. Do anything with that?
I actually have to. I have to talk to Ben and the folks that's running it. See if there's any way that we can help or participate in any way.
Yeah, I think that might be a great dry run for you. If there's some event where you guys host an event or and have a little booth there, that might be fantastic. So
we're actually going to be speaking of events, we're actually going to be in the business show in LA in October. So there's a conference at the convention center. So
what are the dates on that?
To be honest, I think it's October 3 to 5, but I can get back to you.
Look up LA Business Show and look up Clarative and look up Sean on LinkedIn. Sean Giger-Mersa. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, so Clarative is clarative.ai, and you can find me on LinkedIn. Sean Giger-Mersa on LinkedIn.
Yep, and we'll capture all this stuff when we go. Take the live and cut it up into clips and that kind of stuff. We'll capture all these, how to reach you things, and get them in those episode descriptions. So,
awesome.
So anything else you're excited about coming up?
I'm excited about Tech Alley. I think, I'm just glad to be kind of like getting back in the kind of like the flow of things. So, like going to all the different Vegas events. So I think,
it sounds like you got to go to Morgan's session this afternoon at 2:45.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, I think that's going to be great. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, it's great to see you, man.
Awesome.
So I think we're going to wrap this up. The heat is getting to us, and the ice packs are on their last leg. So I think I'm glad we got through without a camera incident today or an internet incident today. So forward progress all the way. We get better every time as we do these. So
that's
thank you
how
for joining us today, Sean. Enjoy the rest of Tech Alley and let's connect up. Let's do another follow up to our podcast interview we did last year. Maybe we'll come down and see you guys at your workspace. And,
for sure, that would be great.
Talk to you and the team.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Jason.
Great to see you, man.
Cheers. Bye.
All right. Well, thank you, all of you from outside who tuned into Tech Alley. We love having you here. We love doing this for you. As I told Josh earlier, we're going to keep showing up and doing these live streams as long as Josh will have us and the folks at Tech Alley want to keep talking to us. So, but we would love to see you down here at Tech Alley next month. I don't know the exact date, but it'll be the 3rd Saturday of September. Down here, remember, we're centered around Taverna Costera. They're a big sponsor of Tech Alley. They provide all the coffee and water for the networking event. They provide lunch for everybody. They provide us this space to do the podcasting and the live streaming. They're wonderful, wonderful folks. They have always tolerated my buffoonery and been nothing but helpful to make this both this podcast and the Tech Alley event go forward. So shout out to Taverna Costera and all the folks who provide space, all the folks who provide sponsorship for Tech Alley to make this happen in downtown Las Vegas every month. Again, come down if you're in Las Vegas, 3rd Saturday of every month. We're doing Tech Alley down here at Charleston and Maine and downtown Las Vegas, centered around Taverna Costera. Lots of other events coming up. We mentioned Global Entrepreneurship Week is coming up in November here in Las Vegas. Lots of other things coming up. We would love to see you at all of them. If you are not from the Las Vegas area but want to learn more about what we're doing here, please get in touch. We'll try to have all the great contact information for our guests today available to you. We'll figure out how to get that to you. So thank you for watching. We appreciate it. Onward and upward.